para-athletics programme that's taking part in the Scotstoun Stadium over in the west end of Glasgow. This is the penultimate day of the athletics here, and we've only got a few days left of the whole Commonwealth Games to go so far. And this athletics and para-athletics has brought a wonderful array of medals. A spread of nations that have picked up a medal here in this sport is well over 20 different nations. The medal table is topped by Australia at the moment, but Jamaica and England are closing in behind. This evening, we've got a men's javelin throw for the ages. The last 2 Olympic champions, the last 4 world champions. We'll have the women's pole vault final as well, featuring Olympic champion Nina Kennedy, world champions Evan Dunphy and Lillian Adira go in the men's race walk and the women's 800. We'll also have 2 400-metre hurdle finals and 2 200-metre finals. We'll also cover the conclusion of the decathlon here this evening, starting out with a javelin throw and ending with a 1500 metres. And the men in that decathlon, they've been going at it for 2 days and the lead is changing back and forth. It's with the defending champion Lyndon Victor at the moment, but if you followed us through to the end of our coverage this afternoon, you would have seen that the Grenadian is potentially carrying a bit of an injury. We'll see how that plays out in the javelin and in the 1500 metres. Spectators flooding in here. The stadium has a capacity of around about 8,000. And as we near the weekend here in Glasgow, we'll expect that to be challenged. Here's a look at the full schedule, starting with that men's decathlon javelin, onto the race walk, the pole vault. Great to see a women's long jump T38 down there. Some of the medalists from the 100 metres in that classification will go again to try and pick up a second medal. That men's javelin throw, wow, it really could be special. Conditions great for javelin throwing here. Maybe they could nudge up towards 90 metres. That women's 800-metre final is going to be very competitive between Lillian Adira and Georgia Hunter-Bell. And we'll see some of the athletes arriving now at the stadium, making their way over to some world-class warm-up facilities. They've got a small indoor track and a nice outdoor turf, which I think will get a lot of use here this afternoon. It's nice and sunny. My name is Hannah England, and I'm commentating this evening with Tim Hutchings and with Paralympic champion Danny Crates. Danny, we've got just that one para event coming up this evening. We did have a few more this morning, but this women's long jump could be pretty cool.
Yeah, the women's long jump should be quite exciting today. We're going to see some of the athletes. We did see some of them in the 100 metres. Olivia Breen going for Wales. She was a silver medalist in the 100 metres. She could be the favourite. And it's been a long wait for her. She was last the long jump champion back in 2018. So it's been a long time since she last won a global medal in the long jump, especially. So she'll be really looking to get back on the top of the podium.
Yes, they didn't do the long jump in Birmingham, did they? And Olivia Breen was nimble. She popped over to the 100, won the gold there, but then had to settle for silver in that sprint event a few nights ago. And, we will also have a T38 women's 200 for the first time at the Commonwealth Games, so that's not till tomorrow night. And there's Maddie Down, the 18-year-old, picked up the bronze in the 100 metres. And if she can find some form, she could be on for a second medal, but she's only just finished her A-levels, the high school exams here in the UK, and they've, I don't know, you don't quite know the form. Well, she surprised us in the 100, so we'll see if she surprises us in the long jump as well. There's Shankar of India, who's having a good showing here in the decathlon. He's up in medal contention. Cameron McIntyre going in javelin for Australia. Massive improvement in the last couple of weeks. He's definitely an outside bet for a medal. They looked good in qualification yesterday, those all the favourites in the men's javelin. It was just Julius Yago that didn't make it through. There is Lyndon Victor, who's currently leading the decathlon just by 35 points ahead of Damien Warner.
The all-important last-minute rubs down, stretches, those magic touches of the physios and the medical teams. They work tirelessly at these games. They don't see a second of competition generally. They are normally buried in the pit somewhere, aren't they? Just in darkness, just looking after the athletes, getting them ready. Those last minute, sometimes it's because we need it, sometimes we just need to feel a little bit better about ourselves. We just need that magic touch.
Sometimes you just want to do something except think about your event, and they're the best place to help distract you. Seeing some athletes using the warm-up facility here. I'm not sure those guys are competing today. There are the female pole vaulters. We've already missed Nina Kennedy, but there's 3 really strong Kiwi athletes. There's Eliza McCartney, the athlete with the most accolades for her nation at the end. But here's the conditions: 16 degrees centigrade and wind speed 13 kilometers per hour. But judging by the flags, as we have been all week, I think that's more wind than there was this morning, and I would just like it to drop slightly for the javelin, because they're going to be throwing into the wind. It's not awful. We saw that in qualification, and they started figuring it out. They changed the angle of attack. They just started to play with it. And if they did find kind of in excess of 80 metres in the end, but the talent we've got in this men's javelin, if we could just let that wind drop, I think we could see out over 90 metres, and that'd be pretty exciting. The Commonwealth Games record is at 90 metres 18 by Arshad Nadeem in Birmingham. The Pakistani athlete is here, so it could definitely be challenged. But we're going to start the programme here in Glasgow at Scotstoun Stadium with a few medal ceremonies. The first of those is going to be the women's 100-metre hurdles that took place towards the end of yesterday.
A few people getting in their last minute fueling before the evening's sport takes place.
It's always the debate, isn't it? You get your food in now, or do you wait for halfway in between? Maybe do both. Maybe treat yourself here on a Friday night.
It's Friday. Treat yourself, I'd say.
Everyone out here to support their nations, and it is getting busy down there near the men's javelin. I think the real fans of javelin throwing will want to see them warm up as well. Get their eye in on how they're doing. And they can't throw with the wind here, the javelin throwers. There is a runway on the other side of the track, but because we've got the pole vault going on, this is their only option. You can see the zoomed out view here.
Looks stunning, doesn't it? I mean, we can't mention it enough, and we're just blown away by this facility. Just when you see these shots of Scotstoun, you just realise it's. And the spectators who get to sit on the sides, they are so close to the action. They were so close to the long jump, so close to the 100-metre straights.
When they're pretty up there with the field eventers as well, they really are getting a good view. And you're right, Danny. And what's lovely about this Scotstoun Stadium and it being revamped is this is a stadium that's used all year round, month in, month out by local athletes. They've got a huge club here, the Glasgow Athletics Club, and they will use this the whole time. It is used for other sports through the year as well, but the facelift and the new track surface and everything this stadium has had will go on, and sometimes these games, whether it's the Olympic Games or Commonwealth Games, the different weight they put on legacy is down to each organising committee, but the legacy of this stadium is going to go on for years. Yeah,
I mean, what an amazing place to come and do your training once this is cleared away, and it just goes back to its normal day-to-day.
It'd be great. They'll take away the temporary stands at each end, but I think the way that they've shown they can transform this arena to host the world's best, perhaps they'd be tempted, maybe for a European Championships, maybe something like that. We have got the European Championships in the UK coming up in a couple of weeks in Birmingham, and they were the city that hosted the last Commonwealth Games. So I don't know, they've proven that they can host kind of big athletics meets here.
And what makes our athletics meet so special is the crowds. I mean, something else we've mentioned quite a lot as well. You can see the stadiums are filling up already, and we've still got a little bit of time until we see any actual action on the track. And we saw it during the men's decathlon. The pole vault in the decathlon often goes on way beyond the schedule, and the decathletes were still out there in the pole vault. Those that were still in it, and the clouds were getting darker, and the crowd stayed. They were there supporting the athletes till the very last vault was done.
And I think they should. I think that men's decathlon pole vault is often a kind of lonely pursuit for those men. They have to have the recovery in between the events. That's why it waits right till the end of that second day, the morning of that second day. It's always dramatic as well.
The women's 100 metres hurdles.
So here is the presentation of the team and the medalists from the women's 100-metre hurdles.
Please welcome the medalists.
Was a real step up from Devon Charlton to take the gold for the Bahamas. great performances all round, particularly in the heats. We saw a very swift wind-aided 12:20 from Toby Amasan. Unfortunately, the Nigerian, the defending champion, who was going for a hat-trick, just struggled slightly in the final. Then, in the end, actually, given the difficulties in the first half of the race for Toby Amasan, I'm pretty impressed that she held on for the bronze. She kept her composure, continued running all the way to the line, and she looked disappointed to have not got the gold. And I'm sure she would have been kicking herself had she panicked and not even got herself here on the podium. It was 12:60 for Toby Amasan in the end. She was a couple of tenths adrift of Megan Simmons of Jamaica, the bronze medalist in 2021 at the Olympics. I rounded back into form last year, made the final in Tokyo. Set a lifetime best this year. She's backed that up with a silver medal. It was gold for Devon Charlton, her first major outdoor gold medal. She's the three-time world indoor champion, the world record holder indoors. Really the best of her generation over that short hurdles. But last night, she put together a brilliant race. The fast start you'd expect, and then battled with Simmons through the middle section of the race and just found something over the final couple of hurdles to win by nearly a tenth. It was 12:33, wind aided, 2.5 following wind. Great time nonetheless for Devon Charlton to make her the Commonwealth Games champion.
We stand for the anthem of Bahamas.
Fair bit of emotion there for Devon Charlton. I think she's getting teased by Toby Amasan. I think it's fair to say that Devon Charlton was quite a popular winner yesterday. With the other women in the race, they seemed absolutely delighted for her. She's made so many major finals. She's always consistent. The three of them are, to be honest, three very worthy medalists, and I'm sure they will turn their attention to the remainder of the Diamond League programme season, and then that World Ultimate Championships, where they go back up against the Americans. Masai Russell has given Toby Amasan's world record a bit of a scare this year. Toby Amasan will want to get back underneath the 12:30s to 12:20s on the circuit, perhaps. Having a look here at the decathletes getting warmed up for the javelin. That's Evan Campbell of Jersey, who unfortunately was disqualified from the hurdle, so he's way down the order at the moment. He did recover well with a good discus. Just staying warm. They spent a good amount of time over there this morning already doing the discus, so they'll be familiar with this part of the stadium. Probably familiar with the whole facility here. You know, every rest area has been jam-packed with the decathletes, and they've seen every inch of the track over the last couple of days.
They really do the tourist tour of the athletic stadium, don't they? They go everywhere.
Got a good shot of their suitcases, didn't we, there towards the end of that discus, and all packing back up. Think how many different pairs of shoes you'd need for 10 different events, and the implements and the kit, because you don't know what the weather's going to do.
What if they ever forget one thing, like just...
Actually stressful. That packing list for a decathlon or a heptathlon will be
I had enough
mega.
trouble bringing a pair of spikes.
So discus women out next for their medal ceremony.
Medal ceremony for women's discus throw.
Men's discus is taking place tomorrow night. Actually, very competitive with the likes of Matt Denny, Lawrence Okoye. Here are the medalists on the women's side. So another field gold for Jamaica. They picked up a field gold with Taja Gale in the long jump. Bronze medal went to Seema of India. They've done well in the field as well, particularly on the women's side. Gold and bronze in the F42-44 shot put a few nights ago. Seema picking up a bronze medal here. Her best throw came in the third round, 58 metres 65. Julia Tunks picked up Canada's first ever women's discus throw medal last night. Silver for her, matching the finishing position of her father a few years ago in this event. Her best though came in the second round, 60 metres 67. The pre-event favourite Samantha Hall moved herself up to the gold medal position in round 4. She had a shaky first few rounds. And her best though came in the last round, 61 metres 66. On season's best, she had a 3 metre advantage over Julia Tunks. It was the Canadian that was in charge of the competition until Samantha Hall got to grips with the circle here in Glasgow.
For those who are able to, please stand for the anthem of Jamaica.
So it was, of course, a third field gold for Jamaica. It was Romaine Beckford in the high jump that picked up their other gold medal. To take a silver and bronze in the women's triple jump last night as well. The Keelia Smith and Shante Foreman. Lovely photos for Samantha Hall, Julia Tunks and Shima at the medal table, as I said at the start of the programme, topped by Australia with 12 medals total and 4 golds. Canada have 4 golds as well. Jamaica, 4 golds. The total medal count means that Australia are first. England just behind with 3 golds, and India, 2 golds, 4 silvers, 2 bronzes. Very competitive from the Indian nation. They'll be desperate to add Neeraj Chopra to that list in the men's javelin. Have a couple more medal ceremonies before looking at the men's decathlon javelin. That gets underway in 20 minutes. And out on the infield, they have got kind of two sets of lines. They've got a 50-metre and a 60-metre arc, and that's very much for the decathletes. And they're very ambitious further out. They've got an 80 metres and a 90 metres. I'll be really hoping the men's javelin gets out there. So Hall, Tunks, Seema, and smiles and waves to the crowd. I wonder if Samantha Hall will go sign that Jamaican flag we saw. That looked like it had every signature going on it. The women's 5,000 metre medal ceremony yet. There's the arcs I was talking about in the javelin. The first two arcs set up to let us eyeball the men's javelin decathlon, and the second two out there, that will be for the men's open javelin final. That takes place in an hour and a half.
The medal ceremony for the women's 5,000 metres.
Women's 5,000 metre medal ceremony up next. A ripple of recognition for Megan Keith in front of this home crowd. Brave run from the Scottish woman last night, really took the race on with a mile to go. She was so disappointed with the 10,000 where she was down in 9th place. Come the 5,000, she said, I don't want to be a passenger in this race, I want to be an active participant, and she made the race suit her down to the ground. Steve Monaghetti might be a Commonwealth Games champion, but he's never done the 5,000, 10,000 double like Rose Davis has done this week.
Bronze medalist representing Scotland, Megan Keith.
Lovely cheer for Megan Keith. There's some really nice scenes doing the rounds on social media. Her granddad is 100 years old, and he came to watch her at this Games, and he said a couple of weeks ago, my motivation to stay alive was to watch my granddaughter compete at this Games, and she did him incredibly proud last night. She actually disrupted an altitude training camp this year just to go home for his birthday. She said, I asked my physiologist, I asked my coach, they said no, and I did it anyway. But a first medal of the Games for Jessica Hull. Just so many achievements. Olympic medals, world indoor medals, and that's actually her first Commonwealth Games medal. And she'll go again in the mile final tomorrow night.
Gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion representing Australia, Rose Davis.
A historic double for Rose Davis, 5,000 and 10,000. 10,000, it was a very well judged last few kilometres that saw her overhaul everybody. Yesterday in the 5,000, it was a very patient wait whilst Megan Keith wound it up and dropped a lot of the competitors off. And then Rose Davis went to the lead in the last lap and managed to hold off a 3:50 1,500 metre runner to make it a 1-2 for Australia.
Once again, please show your appreciation for the Commonwealth Games medalists.
That is a set of smiles there, isn't it? I think the biggest one there belongs to Megan Keith. I've seen some amazing races and some great tactical decisions throughout my life in athletics, but that was one of the bravest, boldest moves I've seen, knowing that you've got Davison and Hull be hunting you down to a mile to go, and she took that race. But when she went off with a mile to go, this stadium came alive. Like, they were edging it all the way, weren't they? It was just fantastic to see it.
And it's interesting, Megan Keith did a similar tactic at the London Diamond League a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't work against very similar opposition. So you can only credit the success of that move to the Scotstoun Stadium and the home crowd, because that was the only difference, I think. Yeah, she really enjoyed feeding off that energy.
You got to really feel for her granddad in that crowd as you're 100 years old and living there in that moment with his granddaughter, a mile to go, taking the race on, knowing that she's being hunted down.
Yeah, I think it was. I think if you go on the Team Scotland social media, particularly on their Instagram account, I'm sure that's where it was. It was a video of Megan Keith's sister, granddad, mum and dad, and you can see the nervous energy, the tension building up, and then it shows Megan Keith doing her own Wimbledon moment, climbing up into the stand and getting to hug her granddad and her family. So yeah, that brings an extra level of pressure for these home athletes as well, you know, knowing that those people are in the crowd and wanting to give them something special. And there's a fair amount of Australians here as well. Rose Davis's parents have become quite the social media stars over the last couple of weeks, and over the last week with her double gold, and they seem to be welcoming, seem very comfortable with that attention as well. They're incredibly proud. Give them a mic and they'll talk about how proud they are of their daughter.
But I think that it just reminds you, doesn't it, that behind every athlete there is family and friends that sit behind them, and those family and friends, they live every moment of that athlete's race, that athlete's journey building up to the competition.
No, absolutely.
Here we have the last medal ceremony before we get into the action on the track and infield. It's the women's 1500 metre T54. If you're not aware, this race was rerun. It was actually raced 2 days ago, and it saw an almighty crash where the Canadian athlete, Nandini Sharma, cut across Naomi Alphonse, causing Alphonse to crash, causing Eliza O'Connell to crash, which then led to a chain of events. We saw another 2 racers coming out of their chairs. So through a series of appeals, the race had to be run. But Melanie Woods was the initial winner of that race. So she then had an anxious wait to go out and re-race again in front of the home crowd. Representing Australia, the bronze medalist, Eliza O'Connell. The silver medalist representing Mauritius, Naomi Alphonse.
Gold medalist, Commonwealth Games champion, representing Scotland, Melanie Woods.
And the gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion representing Scotland, Melanie Woods. She won the first race after she managed to avoid all the collisions, and then she went out and she won it again. And she is Scotland's second gold medalist. The first was another para-athlete, Ben Sandilands, who went in the T20 1500 metres.
Those who are able to, please stand for the anthem of Scotland.
Very proud moment for Melanie Woods, and a very, very proud moment for everybody in this stadium. And Melanie goes again in the 400-metre final, so she'll be hoping she can relive this moment again.
That'll be tomorrow night, that women's T54 400 metres. Crowding on the podium here for the shot, and there's nothing really beats the host nation national anthem, does it? The whole crowd getting behind Melanie Woods, and as they did with Ben Sandilands as well.
You may notice as well, there is, within the T54 category, you do have amputees in there as well. That's why the other two athletes, they'll be wearing prosthetics so they can walk around when they're not in their wheelchairs.
It's been brilliant to have the para-athletics integrated here to the athletics programme. And
just beautiful shots of the stadium. As you see the back of the stadium, there's a couple of doors you can see, and just to everybody else, they're just a door. But over one of those doors is a sign. I saw it the other day, and it says Athletes Entrance. And that just filled me with fear, because I remember those days. You get off the coach, and then you just walk into the stadium in the Athletes Entrance, and then you know that your moment is very, very soon.
Game on, isn't it? It's all a bit hypothetical when you're sat back in the hotel, counting down the hours, and then you get on that bus, and once you get to the arena, you think that is kind of it. And I know the emotions for those women there in the T54 category, having to do that race twice, and particularly Melanie Woods. She broke the games record on the first run, and then actually lowered it again even further in that second run. And I would really have felt for Melanie Woods had that not been the outcome, because she got herself out of trouble in that 1500. It's not like she made different race decisions that then put her in a position where she wasn't in the tangle, and she won, and she would have every right to feel like she was the deserved gold medalist.
She made the right race decision. She knew that there was some inexperienced racers in there, so it's to stay out of trouble, stay out of the way, and she knew she was strong enough. So she would have been, in hindsight now, she's glad she won it the second time, I would imagine, because she won it in the right conditions, being able to say that she beat the field. And obviously, the first time round, there wasn't many left finishing the race. So I think she would be glad of the rerun, not that she had to run it, but she can say, I beat everybody.
Absolutely, and there they go. We'll see O'Connell and Woods in the 400 metres, or is Alphonse going that 400 metres as well? All three of them going again? I'm not sure.
They're not. No. They we actually had the heats this morning. We can let you know exactly who's through to the finals. So we will actually see they all progress through this morning. We see a lot of races, don't we?
Oh yeah, no.
We're just trying to remember who's progressed, who hasn't. We've got one thing in our mind, and that's what's coming up between now and the end of the session today?
No, I was with you there. I was doubting myself because there's 2 Mauritius athletes through to the final in the 400. And I was thinking, what had I just assumed Alphonse was through? But no, it was her teammate Perrine made it through as well. So it'll be a rematch between Woods, Alphonse and O'Connell. Just over 1 lap of the track. They'll stay in their lanes. Here's where we are with the men's decathlon. Lyndon Victor, thanks to a good pole vault, has an advantage over Damien Warner of 35 points. And Sammy Ball, not too much further behind, just 20 points behind Damien Warner. And to Jaswin Shankar, 13 points behind him. So that's pretty tight, I think, with 2 events left to go. You'd usually expect a few more kind of, just a bit of a break in the order there to say, you know, either the gold medalist is away or 2 of them away, and then there's a battle behind. But it's pretty evenly matched. And the real question coming into this javelin is Lyndon Victor healthy? He was limping away from the pole vault mat earlier on this afternoon. Let's hope it was just cramp or something like that. And here's the start list for the javelin. Lyndon Victor there, nearly 72 metres, and he doesn't need all that. If he can just find some of that throwing ability here, he'll keep himself in the gold medal position over Damien Warner. And, Sammy Ball and Tejeswin Shankar very evenly matched through the javelin and through the 1500. So if it goes to the form book, Victor should extend his position, lead by even more over Damien Warner, and the other positions should stay relatively similar. But you can never, ever predict what's going to happen in a decathlon. I like the fact we're the other side of the pole vault. We haven't got that jeopardy of a no mark there. There is still a jeopardy of a no mark in the javelin, but I think it's less likely. And we're about to have the nightly fireworks here in Scotstoun that signal the opening of the evening session.
It really does set it off, doesn't it? The music, the fireworks, the dancing Finny. We've got it all. Oh, and we've got some action on the track and field as well.
It's not just a fireworks display, we promise. There is some world-class athletics coming your way. It'd be funny for the decathletes, they would have seen this yesterday. Lots of athletes seeing it for the first time. There's Damien Warner, looking pensive. Won his title over in Hampton Park in 2014. He won an Olympic title in the middle there as well in 2021. And the Canadian, he's just been a little bit shaky here. Across the board, really. There wasn't any sort of single disaster. Maybe that pole vault dropped around about 90 points from what he might have expected. To Jaswin Shankar of India. He's quite new to decathlon, Shankar. He did high jump at college over in America, won the NCAA championships in that, and said he really wanted to be a decathlete. And it's a bit of a sort of search, taking himself back over to America, trying to be a professional athlete over there in a totally new event, and find some coaching support. And he is now the Indian national record holder. He's not even an outside medal hope here. He really could find a medal. And the men just checking out the javelins. It looks like they haven't got their own throwing implements here. They're sort of ones issued by the organisers. They'll each be the different brands. They'll be very familiar with the different brands. And the way they had that tissue paper around, it almost looked like they were fresh out of a box. Yeah.
They pull lots. Who's getting the biggest, or is it the biggest man chooses first, literally? Yeah.
Or the leader chooses first. Surely that's it. Or maybe they go first place, then last place, then second. I don't know. Like picking the football team at school.
But Lyndon Victor, the pole vault was very strange with him. He had some very heavy landings and was visibly grimacing and uncomfortable, and then went and cleared the bar the next time, and then it happened again. So it leads you down the road that it may be cramped because his team weren't pulling him out or advising him to remove himself from the competition.
Jamie Shooter of Nigeria alongside Joel McFarlane of Scotland, who Joel McFarlane rescued his discus throughout over 40 metres on 2 fouls. 21-year-old Sammy Ball is in the bronze medal position at the moment. He's been really, really good across 8 events. Great focus from him. This is outperforming anything he's ever done in his career before, and he's just got to keep that focus for 3 more throws here. The 1500 is hard, but it's simple. I think this is the last technical challenge for these decathletes.
Are you saying running's simple?
Relative. It's all relative, isn't it?
1 foot in front of the other, do it faster than 7 other people, win a race.
Don't
Done.
forget to turn left and you're sorted. Start with Max Tuera of the Cook Islands, national record holder for the Cook Islands, and it's his birthday today. I'm waiting for them to play him happy birthday. Jeff Whiteman on the stadium PA here. He's wished him a happy birthday at least 3 times today. Surely they've got to play him the song, get the crowd singing. Tuera's been a bit good here. Close to the season's best. He's had a lot of lifetime decathlon bests earlier on in the year, setting that national record. And he's not been too far off those marks here in sort of the major championship environment. Pretty much exactly on 50 metres here, probably a tiny bit under for Tuera. Some 51.29 this year. Okay, 49 metres 81, not bad. Next up, Damien Warner. He has done 64 metres in his career, 54 for his season's best. He's got to be thinking up towards the 60 metres. He's going to put any pressure on Lyndon Victor. He's a better runner than Victor. He'd back Warner over the 1,500 metres if the points gap stayed the same as it is now. Oh, that's not a bad start at all for Damien Warner. In sort of real terms, if you convert the points gap between him and Lyndon Victor is about 2 metres ahead of him. That's the advantage he already brings in based on the cumulative points from his previous 8 events. But Victor got a PB of 6 metres better than Warner, so it could be absolute curtains for Warner's gold medal hopes if he doesn't nail this one. I think his coach just suggesting his arm was coming away from his body. Ideally, you want to keep that javelin nice and close to your ear. To Jeswin Shankar up next. Oh, just over the line. What a shame for Shankar. Just having a look out over the field. I think it did land at about 55 metres for Shankar, which would be a lifetime best. And it's not like the long jump where you sort of, you foul by 20 centimetres and it's actually probably quite a significant portion of your attempt. I think Shankar there just fouling by a tiny amount relative to the 55 metres or so he chucked to the javelin. That's pretty exciting, pretty positive from Shankar. Callum Newby looks like he's relished every opportunity to step out in front of this Scottish crowd. Season's best PBs all around the shop. Oh, he just dipped his back toe over there. And to be honest, the javelin in the end probably dipping down at around about 40 metres, so doesn't matter too much for Newby. Not like he's just thrown away one of the best throws he'd be hoping to produce today. Right, first track action this evening is going to be the men's 10,000 metre race walk. It's a small field, that is it. There are just 5 of them, but littered with quality. It's got the defending champion and the world champion over 35 kilometres, Evan Dunphy of Canada, and then 3 very strong Australians. And Kenyan athletes just getting better with all the experience that he can gain. Isaac Bowcroft of Australia is on the outside. He was 4th at the World Juniors a few years ago, and he just broke the World Junior record with 38 minutes and 2 centimetres. There's Dunphy. He had an Olympic medal over 50k before Birmingham. And he removed the 50k from international race walking, and Dunphy has had to turn into more of a speed merchant than he feels like he's naturally able to. There's Kihu of Kenya, second at the African Championships this year. Declan Tingay of Australia has had lots of niggles this year. He's just completed a training stint in St Moritz and is hoping it's all going to pay off. And going to be able to get back to his very best here today. Tim Fraser of Australia will be the final athlete. He's also been up in Switzerland training at altitude. He made his debut for Australia at the World Championships last year. So 25 laps of the track, eagerly watched by the crowd and the judges, who will be watching for impeccable technique from these 5 men. There's not a pack to hide in, is there? You know, I have to be so good technically. Seeing Bowcroft make sure he's got his timing chip in there. That would make our jobs pretty hard if we couldn't keep a track of Beaufort splits, but it's in there now. They would have a backup, I think, for the official result, but makes everyone's lives easier if the timing chip stays in the bib. So just a reminder of the race walking rules. You have to have continuous ground contact and a straightened supporting leg. Remember Evan Dunphy winning the World Championships in Tokyo in dramatic style in that 35 kilometres. He judged his effort really well. It was horrendous conditions, so hot, so humid. And he's been off the podium, a lot of 4th places in his career. And he said he spent most of the race thinking, I'm going to have to be 4th again, and thinking, that'll be kind of funny. Isn't it kind of funny that I turn up to every championships and come 4th? And then suddenly, the top 3 just started dropping like flies. They'd overcooked it, and Dunphy sped through the field, but a couple kilometres to go for the Canadian. He tore his hamstring, a really severe hamstring tear, and he did finish the race, but the damage has taken pretty much 10 months to heal for Dunphy. So he's not race sharp. He's actually strained his other hamstring just a couple of weeks ago. So the defending champion really up against it in terms of whether his body is healthy.
Yeah, Evan Dunphy has been up in Sweden training with Percy Karlstrom as well. But you're right, Hannah, he was in St. Moritz with all the Aussies and recently strained the other hamstring. It does suggest maybe lower back problems or some sort of mobility issues, because that was a massive injury he picked up in Tokyo, even though he went on to take the gold at those World Championships. He is the defending champion at the back of this quintet at the moment, a tiny field. And I was talking to Jane Saville of Australia, who lives down in Spain actually now, and an Olympic medalist of years gone by, and she said she's disappointed with the numbers, but there's something to do with the quota system of athletes that can be selected for any one nation. There's no Indian walkers in this field either, and they've got a pretty strong squad. I think there's one Indian in the women's walk. We'll keep tabs on that 10,000 metre walk. We expect it to be very fast. It is incredibly quick. You think the best in the world walk 37, 38 minutes, and think about half of that for your park run if you're familiar with it.
Here's a look at the women's pole vault final, featuring the defending champion, the Olympic champion, and the former world champion, Nina Kennedy.
Yeah, very strong field in this women's pole vault. The defending champion, Nina Kennedy, there she is, world #1 this year, #6 all-time after a fantastic win in early July in Monaco, where she vaulted 4 meters 95. There's Jennifer Elizarov, 2 times the Canadian champion, a season's best at the Canadian Championships in Ottawa. Imogen Harris of New Zealand goes in to his 3rd in the jumping order, the bronze medalist 4 years ago. Noreen Hussain of Pakistan there, she's in this lineup, only a 388 vaulter. Olivia McTaggart 4th in the last Commonwealth Games, 3 times New Zealand champion though. Then Gemma Tutton from England, the UK champion this year, comes from Lewis down in Sussex, 450 this year, that's her lifetime best. And Eliza McCartney, who's been around a long time, she's still only 29, but she took an amazing bronze medal at the Rio Olympic Games 10 years ago, McCartney. So there's a trio of Kiwis going in this one, a very strong trio. Kennedy will be certainly one who's likely to stop them getting a 1, 2, 3, but it's not totally unthinkable.
It isn't, and Olivia McTaggart, one of them, gave a very interesting interview this week, saying I'm really relishing this challenge, but very aware I could jump 480 personal best and not get a medal. That is a very high quality women's pole vault coming up. We've gone through the first kilometre here. men's race walk. 3:08, Declan Tingay leading the way. Everyone tucked in there, and here we go. We were seeing issues with the timing clip. Isaac Bowcroft is in this group, all 5 men still together, but he hasn't come up on the system. Doesn't really matter for you guys at home, but it's kind of interesting to watch him tinker around with that, and it still hasn't fixed the problem. He's the one with hit number 5 on there, so he's tucked in 3rd place.
We'll just explain the walking rules to you. There is a chief judge, and he can disqualify somebody in the last 100 metres, even if they haven't had a red warning card before that, if he thinks that they are lifting in the last 100 just to win the race. He doesn't give red cards during the rest of the race. Those are given by other judges, and if you get 3 red warning cards during the race, you go into the penalty zone for 1 minute, a 4th red card, and you're disqualified. It's sounds complicated, but it's pretty straightforward. The judges are out there. The only problem is, Hannah, that these guys are walking at around 200 steps per minute, and that is just asking too much for the human eye. It's very, very tough for the judges. There's a lot of onus on them to get it right, but they are only human.
Well, the track environment might be slightly easier for the judges. Usually these guys are out on the roads on a 1 kilometre or a 2 kilometre loop. And what I like about the red cards, there's 3 red cards for a time penalty and then a 4th for a disqualification. That each red card has to come from a different judge, so it adds in an element of independence, that it can't just be one judge forming one opinion on you 3 or 4 times. It has to come from a different judge, and I think that improves the integrity as well, and kind of not that anyone will be intentionally biased, but sort of one interpretation overruling that of a group of judges.
I'll tell you what's fascinating is the Kenyan in here, Stephen Kihu. He's got a very fast personal best. He's not unknown by any means. He was 9th in the World Juniors back in 2024 over this distance. And of course the Kenyans, well, look at their prominence in distance running over the barriers as well in the steeplechase and so on. And it follows, therefore, that they ought to be really good in this. Another aerobic event that is very, very tough, puts huge demands on your mental strength as well as your physical attributes, and he's hanging in there right now, Stephen Key, walking really nicely. He is walking out off the curb a little bit, so a few metres extra each lap. I think most judges would say, look, don't be out there too long, because this is not a slow race. The pace that's being laid down is pretty aggressive.
Well, it's 3:53 for the 1st kilometre, apologies. I gave you an 800-metre split. Just getting my eye in on where the athletes are around the track, and one more lap to find their 2 kilometre split. And we'll check back in with Sammy Ball. Got an event lead here of 55 metres 82 from his English teammate Lewis Church. Bit tentative on the runway here, Sammy Ball. It's just short of 45 metres. That's around about his season's best mark. Tim's been a big advocate, particularly in the multi-events, of just one good, solid first throw, so that you get kind of nearly all the points that you might be getting anyway. And Ball's definitely done that here with 44 metres and 9 centimetres. But he knows the race is on here for the bronze medal. To Jeswin Shankar, who's his closest competitor, the athlete in 4th place at the moment, had a good throw with a minor foul. He was out to 55 metres. So yes, the Englishman has the advantage in having a valid mark, but he could be about to lose a whole load of points. This saw, I think, a yellow paddle being waved at one of the race walkers. It's hard to pick up. They really try and ensure the athletes are totally aware who the paddle is being attributed to.
Well, they've just gone through 2K. That last lap, 90 seconds, by the way. And for those of you who understand something about pace, that's a 6-minute miling pace. It's incredibly quick. I mean, they are shifting here much faster than I run at, I have to tell you, have to admit. Tingay doing all the work at the moment. Beecroft, of course, the pretender to the throne. Tucked in there, by far the shortest of this quintet. He is the Commonwealth #1 in 2026. Holds the Commonwealth record, Isaac Beecroft. Coached by his dad, who was a walker, who was a good walker.
Damien Warner stepping up now. 55 metres, 54 in the first round. It's all about comparing Warner to Victor, really. Victor on a foul from the first round, so it's going the Canadians' way at the moment. Victor is just unstoppable when it comes to the throws and the pole vault. Grenadian is so good. But Warner, 51 meters 23 there, no improvement. So let's have a look at Tejeswin Shankar again. He just hopped over the line, which meant it was an invalid attempt, but the distance, I didn't show it on the screen, but I'm here in the stadium and I can tell you it went out to 55 metres, which would equal his lifetime best. His decathlon best came this year, it broke the Indian national record, but many of his personal best marks were from last year in various competitions. So if he can put it all together, he could be on for something special in his career. Whoa. Safer on the line. Let's see where the javelin ends up towards 55 metres. He's pretty raw, Shankar. Polished in the high jump. Just don't know his potential elsewhere across these 10 events. 53 meters 12 for Tejeswin Shankar. Very good. Shankar's a decent runner as well. Callum Newby, remember it was his back foot, so he couldn't prevent it flying through and going on the round. You can see the way he taps that back foot round. It went over the line last time. I think that's going to be just below 40 meters for Callum Newby at best. I'm just trying to get my eye on the grass here on the infield. Oh, and it's a shame to see as well. It's clutching that elbow, which is totally understandable after the busy couple of days he's had. And that was 42 meters 61 for Callum Newby.
Well, that's some of the athletes arriving for the T38 long jump coming up shortly. This is a packed-out session, this one, with plenty of finals on the track and in the field. And it's a beautiful evening across the west end of Glasgow. This Scotstoun Stadium looking quite majestic. The walkers there in the foreground, the five of them still locked together. And the Kenyan has taken over at the front. That's Stephen Kinu. He's just 20 years old. His lifetime best 39.14. I mentioned that Beecroft has the Commonwealth fastest time this year. That's 38.54. So not a great deal quicker than Kihu, about 20 seconds quicker. Kihu got a strange arm carriage, hasn't he? Very high across his chest there. And here comes Beecroft. Isaac Beecroft, Commonwealth record holder. The 10,000 metres on the track, by the way, isn't walked very often. It's great for joggers and other runners who do park run, or maybe those who like a 10K race to be able to familiarise themselves, at least to make comparison. And of course, in the global scene, the half marathon and marathon now becoming more established in race walking. And that is, I think, a very sensible move to give it more, people can relate to it a lot more, of course, from the road running community.
And it is the shortest championship distance we see in the race walks. It is relatively a sprint for them. Great to see them all bunched up together. That's helping the decathletes as well. Their track management have got to step out to the end of the runway and run across the track. So Lyndon Victor, foul in the first round. Stopped well clear of the throw line here. And I think the wind just catching the nose of the javelin there for Victor. It's going to be around about 56.5, 57 metres for Victor, which is good for his overall medal hopes. He's got another 15 metres up his sleeve if he can find it. That was 57.45. That gives him an event lead here ahead of Lewis Church of England. 700 points for Lyndon Victor at the moment. 29 points more than Damien Warner.
Well, there's still a group of 3 beginning to get away. At 1:31 that lap. Tingay leading and beginning to turn the screw on this field. 16 laps to go. He was a very talented Aussie rules player, Aussie rules rugby player as a youngster. Beecroft, despite his small size. As I mentioned, coached by his father and putting the pressure here on Stephen Kehoe, beginning to ask questions. Red cards there, 2 for Fraser, 1 for Tingay. None at the moment for the Kenyan Kehoe or for Beecroft, who leads. And it is Tingay who's got the 1 warning card. Red card, I should say. And at the back, Fraser struggling to go with this. Evan Dunphy, who must be feeling that hamstring injury that he picked up inside the last month. Been training up in San Moritz. Of course, they're running track up in San Moritz. It's really crowded through June, July, August. There's so many athletes want to go up there. I used to train up there myself. It's absolute paradise. San Moritz, like something out of a movie, like a hidden valley up in the mountains, but it just gets crowded, full of runners and athletes from other sports as well. But the walkers, well, they can head out on the roads and the trails and not be dependent upon the running track. Look at this, so tightly bunched. You could throw a blanket over that lot, couldn't you? Literally, a big blanket, obviously. Beecroft on the inside looks very smooth indeed and untroubled, unstrained. 1:33 that lap. Has slowed a little bit mid-race.
A 3:52 for that 4th kilometre. And we saw those red cards being picked up. A reminder that 3 red cards means you have to sit out a minute penalty. Tingay and Fraser, the second 2 Australians, on 2 red cards now. They can have as many yellows as they like, as many warnings as the officials want to help them with. See the official just hovering there, wondering whether she's going to wave a paddle at one of these men. But we're asking them, I said a few moments ago, this is essentially a sprint distance for these guys. They used to walk 50 kilometres. That was Evan Dunphy's kind of bread and butter. And now there's only a half marathon and a marathon available to these guys. And then at the Commonwealth Games to come all the way down to 10,000 is hard, and that will expose their technique when they're walking really as fast as they can, and perhaps even more so in the first half of the race when they're a bit fresh as well. It can be hard to control your limbs and really be disciplined.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. There is a lot of work being done behind the scenes to introduce across the board in at least the high quality walking events, to introduce the technology that ensures they are not lifting, not losing contact with the ground. An experiment went on in the World Athletics Race Walking Team Championships in Brasilia back in April. I was down there for that event, and I haven't actually seen the results of that experiment, but they are gradually honing down to a level of perfection that can be relied upon, a technology that will make it less reliant upon the judges, the sport of race walking.
And Schluter of Nigeria on a no mark. Oh, that's better. Just under 45 metres, the season's best 46. So, Jamie Schluter picks up a few points here. In 6th place coming into this javelin. So we've made our way through 2 rounds. I think that's everyone thrown through 2 rounds up. Just Joel McFarlane and Sammy Ball left to go. 2 more athletes, and then we'll have a look at what's happened to the overall standings and who's already made progress here with 1 round to go in the javelin.
These 3 are away now. It could be the medalists separated from the other 2. And the reigning world champion at 35k, Evan Dunphy. He's the defending champion in this event from Birmingham 4 years ago, but he's a very different physical specimen now. He's had so many injury problems this last year, and he is dropped. And Beecroft, the youngster, making 1 athlete going over into the penalty zone there, and I think it's a Fraser. Fraser will have to sit in that penalty zone. You can see him there in the background. He'll sit there for a minute now, really frustrating. And when this happens on the roads, the penalty is longer, and it can, for all intents and purposes, kill off an athlete's chance in a race. They have to take it on the chin. That's the rules of the sport. They know there's nothing personal about it.
Tim Fraser said on social media, he said he's had to totally reinvent himself as an athlete to be competent over 10,000 metres and you know, be able to do this relative sprint distance for him, but he was desperate to make this championships. So Fraser, you know, pushing himself to the limit in terms of technically walking as fast as possible. And just keep your eye on Declan Tingay as well. He's on 2 red cards, so 1 more for Tingay, and he'll follow his Australian teammate into the penalty box. But the minute looks like it's nearly up for Fraser, and the real shame is he'll now be walking on his own.
Well, he will, yeah, and that makes it very tough because when you're locked in behind people, whether it's running or walking, it psychologically lifts 2 or 3% of the burden, really, and you can tuck in behind somebody, focus on the back of their vest and think less about your own effort, your own discomfort. But yeah, and he's way behind this field now. He's about 280 metres behind them. It's frankly token representation now that he's making, because he's got no chance of catching them. I suppose what he can hope is that there'll be other disqualifications, and that some of them, not disqualifications, time penalties for some of the athletes in front of him. And if 2 of them get a 1-minute time penalty, he could be elevated to the bronze medal position. But at the moment, the Beecroft and the Kenyan Kihu in 1 and 2.
So Beecroft is walking really well here as he's a youngster, he's still a teenager, just 19 years old, the world junior record holder last year. He's been shown a yellow paddle, and I think that was for perhaps a bent leg on landing. Apologies if I misidentified that yellow paddle. But remember, the yellow paddles are more the officials saying to the athletes, just want to say I'm not totally confident in your technique. It's not 2 yellows equal a red like you get in football. The yellows are just trying to nudge the athletes and say, watch out. It's the red paddles that really matter. It's those that add up to the time penalty if you get 3, but then a disqualification if you get 4.
Oh, Fraser. Yep, we saw that, those 3 warning signs for him. And Tingay still on 2, under some pressure back there in 4th place. You can see now a bit of a charge from Dunphy in the red cap rider picture, and the red and white of Canada, working hard to come back to these 2 leaders. But this is quite something. Stephen Kihu putting the pressure now on the Commonwealth #1, Isaac Beecroft, taking on the burden. Maybe Beecroft was tiring. They don't want all the hard work they put in to allow any slackening, to then slacken a bit and allow the 2 behind to catch up with them. Then it would be down to a 4-horse race again. Still cutting a lonely figure down the back straight is Tim Fraser, the 26-year-old Australian, who is a 39.28 performer this year. He's quicker than Tingay. He's quicker than the... no, he's not quicker than Tingay, excuse me, but he's still tremendously quick.
So Fraser has already taken that time penalty with his 3 red cards. Declan Tingay is on 2, and both of those for not having a totally straight leg on landing. He's the 2nd Australian, walking with Evan Dunphy behind.
Well, Beecroft has got the World Junior Championships in Eugene coming. He's doing the 5,000 there. It's on a Saturday week. That might be on his mind. Before the penalty zone was introduced, not very long ago, the 3 reds meant a disqualification. At least the penalty zone gives the athletes a chance to finish the race. But I do wonder if a long flight tomorrow he leaves for Eugene, Oregon. It's, 8 hours behind UK time, behind Glasgow. I wonder if that is playing on his mind, although he will have, some 5 or 6 days there before his race in Eugene.
Went through 5 kilometres, these athletes, in 19 minutes 14, and Tim's made some very good comparisons to parkrun that's very popular in Australia and here in the UK and elsewhere in the world, where athletes will, members of the general public and athletes, anyone can call themselves an athlete if they feel like one, go and run a 5K for free. And I wonder how many local parkruns would be won with a time of 19:14, and that's without following the strict rules, the strict technical rules of race walking.
Beecroft, no, in fact, excuse me, Tingay there, and Dunphy. I think Tingay moving out and inviting Dunphy to come through there. Doesn't want to be the pacemaker of him in the wind up the back straight.
Sammy Ball, 44 metres at the moment, 500, just under 500 points. He's trying to keep himself ahead of Tejeswin Shankar. We're just, oh, that was close on the line there for Ball, getting a close scrutiny from the official, and he does get the white flag. And he's one of the last athletes here to throw in this javelin group. So I'll give you a bit of an update about how the throwing so far has affected the overall ranks. Lyndon Victor is still out in front, 60 points or so ahead of Damien Warner. Tejeswin Shankar has gone ahead of Sammy Ball, though, by over 100 points. Ball will know that's what's happening here. There's a final throw there, the last one we saw the round 2 one. 44 metres 88 to Shankar's 53 metres 12.
Ooh, and that is Tingay. He was on 2 reds, now he's on 3. He's gone into the penalty zone, and that means his teammate Tim Fraser will come past him, and Tingay will be at the back of the field walking a lonely race. The pair of them will be isolated. Evan Dunphy very rarely gets penalties, but he walked quick enough to put pressure on Tingay. And one of the 3 Australians in this is in the penalty zone now, with one having been in there and come out again. What a walk this is from Stephen Kehoe of Kenya. Only 20 years old, walking in a woolly hat, can you believe, but looking really strong. Lovely long stride, beautiful technician actually. Remember that the one leg, when it hits the ground, is the supporting leg, and your body swings over that, and another leg swings through. You have to lock that supporting leg knee. Evan Dunphy in the background. Well, is he closing a little bit? Tough for him on his own now. And there's that Tingay now rejoining the race, but he's about 60 metres. Yeah, about 60 metres behind Tim Fraser. Only 5 athletes in the race. They can all finish under this new system unless they get a 4th warning card, in which case they are then disqualified. But the penalty zone is a empathetic introduction to the sport of race walking that enables athletes to not be disqualified quite as soon if they start racking up penalties.
So the other nuance we've got here, Beecroft is walking phenomenally well, and when you look at the fact he's still a junior athlete and he's preparing for something like a 5,000, the technique required for this 10,000 is probably a lot more natural for him than some of the other athletes. But because he's lost his timing chip, he isn't appearing on our computer system. So as far as we know, he hasn't picked up any red paddles, but it could be that the youngster, the 19-year-old, is sitting on penalties, and because he's not on our system, because he's not got a timing chip on, we could find out kind of for the first time when he steps into the penalty box.
Well, we will find out. They've got a little way to go just yet. The 2 leaders are on the back straight, about to reach the 7-kilometre mark.
Damien Warner, 55 metres 54 in round 1. He's finding himself adrift of Lyndon Victor by 64 points. Not as bad as it could be. It might get worse though, as Lyndon Victor has a big 3rd throw. And again, it's this headwind here, which is slowing down somewhat. It's still catching the tip of the javelin and just dragging it down to the ground. And that's what we're hoping will just calm down a little bit when we go towards the men's javelin final, because a whole load of 90-metre plus throwers there, and it would be special for the Glasgow crowd to see that in person. 52.75, no improvement for Warner, 671 points. That's all he's got to deal with. He'll sit back and see what Lyndon Victor does and then make a plan for the 1500. Tejeswin Shankar, a minor foul in the first round, followed up by 53.12. That's new season's best for this year. Puts him in the bronze medal position ahead of Sammy Ball at the moment. He's just waiting for space here on the track as the race walkers come through. So Shankar's last throw, close to the line there. Couldn't quite see with the official raise the red flag. Let's look at the slow-mo here. Yeah, it's on the line. And the official reaching for the red flag. So one very good throw from Shankar, 53 metres 12, 635 points, puts him in the bronze medal position at the moment.
So side by side now, the leading pair. This surely the battle for the gold and the silver. Stephen Kihu in the lead in the red of Kenya has been pretty much faultless throughout this walk. Just 20 years old, he could be a big threat in the upper echelons of world walking for many years to come. But Beecroft, he's nothing if he's not tough. 5,000 walk in a week's time for him. Can he go there as Commonwealth champion to the World Juniors? Evan Dunphy in third place isolated. This is a tough one for him, though. He can gauge his effort a little bit. Big gap in front of him. Yawning gap behind him as well, with the other two Australians each having had to sit out 1 minute in the penalty box. You can see there to extreme left of your picture on the track out in lanes 5, 6 and 7. But Evan Dunphy, well, at 35, beginning to show a few cracks, the amount of work he puts through those legs. You have to remember, race walkers work incredibly hard. They spend many, many hours out on the roads because of the relatively low intensity of race walking. It's a bit like cyclists who are out in the saddle on the roads for many, many hours every day. Well, these guys are the same. Beecroft, I think, just beginning to try and turn the screw here in the Kenyan on the receiving end now.
Lyndon Victor, 57 metres 45. He's the leader in the javelin here. He did hit a Commonwealth Games decathlon best in the discus this morning. He's below his best right now, Victor. Oh, that's hanging in the air. That's a great third throw from Lyndon Victor. His task today, get himself as far ahead of Damien Warner as he can. The Canadian, I said it a few moments ago, the Canadian is a better runner. Oh, there was a big limp again from Lyndon Victor. Seemed to walk away okay initially at first and then just starts to limp. So 1500 is not fun if you're carrying a niggle. None of these events are. 63 metres and 9 centimetres for Victor. You can see that heavily strapped right ankle. The job done here for the defending champion. He's trying to win again. He's got a 784 points here, but at what cost?
So back to the walk. There's the leading pair at the bottom of the picture. They've on the back straight now, the Kenyan Stephen Kihu and Isaac Beecroft. They're the youngest in the race. Kihu's 20, Beecroft is 19. But they went through 8K just now in 31:06. They covered the last 2 kilometres in exactly 8 minutes, 4 minutes per kilometre they're shifting at. Now the first kilometre was a 3:53. The second, the fourth kilometre I think was a 3:54. They have slowed a little bit, that's understandable. The Commonwealth Games record, 38:36 by Evan Dunphy in Birmingham. There is Dunphy, the Canadian. He will, by the way, forever be the Olympic bronze medalist at 50K because he won the last Olympic bronze medal available at 50 kilometres. So 4 laps to go for these fellas. A mile to go. If you like, start your watches when they come through. Let's see where they cover the last mile in. Kihu just keeping his nose in front. I don't know if there's any tactics going on now, any cat and mouse, or if one of them will start pushing on really hard for these last 4 laps. But that was a 1:36 that lap. They were recording a 90s a while back.
Lewis Church been throwing very well, 55 metres, 54 metres in his first and second attempts, and he was in 7th place coming into this event. He's nudged himself up the leaderboard. Oh, that's going to improve it by a little bit more, surpassing his mark of 55.72. Pick up another few points. Again, the wind just taking the flight out of the javelin just at the last minute. A thumbs up from the coach. 56 metres, 21 centimetres. A small improvement in the last round for Lewis Church. 681 points, and he's up to 5th overall.
But neither of those athletes, the leaders bottom right of your screen, want to leave it to the last 100 metres, because then there will be the temptation to accelerate to the point where they start lifting, not intentionally, but they could be disqualified by the chief judge in the last 100 metres down the home straight. Wouldn't that be cruel after 9.9 kilometres? Here they come, though. Looks like they're going to lap Declan Tingay here. He's the silver medalist from 4 years ago. Commonwealth number 3 this year. He holds the Australian national record with 39.13, but after a minute sitting out, or 39.13 rather, this year, his national record is 38.03. He is one of the quickest athletes in history. Is Declan Tingay, 27 years old. Imagine what Beecroft and Akihu will be like with another 6 or 8 years of hard training in those legs. They are tearing along into the back straight. The three of them together at the moment. They're sort of tucked in behind Tingay. He's not moving out the way. They're having to go wide around him. And that, I think, is a disqualification. Yes, I'm afraid so. Oh dear, oh dear. Fraser, Tim Fraser, sat out a minute in the penalty zone, and he's had another warning, and he's gone. The warning is sort of like your last. The penalty zone is effectively like a 4th warning. You go in there after your 3rd penalty, or your 3rd warning, and sit there for a minute. But if you get a 4th one, when you come back out and start walking, get a 4th one, that's it, you're gone. That's great shame. Tingay trying to hang on to that leading pair, but they are really shifting now into the home straight psychologically of their race. Evan Dunphy looks like he's hurting, doesn't he? I think that hamstring's troubling him. He looks in pain. He's just surviving, I think, out there, but might well be walking on his way to a bronze medal. He's on the back straight. He's about 140 metres behind this leading pair, maybe 150 behind them. But I think the bronze is going to be his. Here they come, 2 laps to go. Keogh in the lead, Beecroft in second. Tingay doing a good job of trying to hang on to them. 1:37 that lap. Fatigue is definitely kicking in. It's not warm, by the way. 14 degrees centigrade here in Glasgow. Not raining, it stayed dry. Although when we walked back to our hotel, it takes a half hour between the sessions, we got absolutely drenched. Myself and Danny stayed dry all morning, and then the middle 20 minutes of our walk, the heavens opened. It was, yeah, stair rods. Keogh, deep in concentration, trying to shake Beecroft here, but Beecroft has probably got similar thoughts as well. Talk about a clash of 2 fabulous young walking talents.
And Beecroft, what a way to warm up for those World Junior Championships, having this battle with Keogh. And Evan Dunphy, I think you're right, Tim, he's perhaps having to adjust his technique with those hamstring issues, and he's done it with great discipline, the Canadian. The defending champion isn't going to be on top of the rostrum again, but I think smart decision-making from Dunphy, thinking with his head rather than his heart, is what's allowed him to stay in the race, not pick up penalties, and be on the way to the podium.
Evan Dunphy will forever be the World 35k champion. He's heading for the bronze. It's a lonely last few laps for him, indeed, a lonely second half of this race for him. They come to the bell this time, 37.27, something like that it's going to be as they come through. There it is, 37.27.5.8, something like that as they go through the bell. And still leading at the moment is Keogh. There's Dunphy. He's well over 200 metres behind now. He's going past the water jump at the other end of the stadium as they come past round the bend and into the back straight with 300 to go. Now there goes Beecroft, changes gear. The judges will be watching very, very carefully here. But Tingay has kicked like a middle distance runner there. And look at the Kenyan Keogh go after him. The speed of these fellas is quite astonishing. Maintaining contact with the ground. The crowd umming and ahhing and oohing at the pace they're generating here into the last 200 metres. 150 to run. The 19-year-old Isaac Beecroft holds the Commonwealth record. His dad will be in the crowd here, I'm sure, screaming at him. He was a walker himself. the World Junior Championships next week over 5,000 metres. I wouldn't want to have to face him. And he has daylight now into the home straight and away, and 50 metres to go. And it is yet another Australian gold here in what has been an astonishing 23rd Commonwealth Games for the Aussies in track and field. He comes home about 5 or 6 metres in front of Kihu, who takes a legendary silver for Kenya. That one will reverberate around Kenya, where youngsters will know there's another discipline in which they can excel. But Isaac Beecroft, they're winning in 38.45, and that just some 9 seconds about outside Evan Dunphy's Commonwealth Games record from 4 years ago. But what a clash that was. Absolutely brilliant. These two will be tearing up the tracks and the roads in years to come. Dunphy is waving to the crowd on the top end. He really has ease back on the throttle, knowing full well that the bronze is his. Glasses get tucked into the back of his shorts, and he's finishing while a long way behind the leading pair in isolation. Only one other athlete out on the track, and that's Declan Tingay, the silver medalist from 4 years ago. He'll be in 4th place today. But Evan Dunphy, what a servant he's been in Canadian colours. The hamstring injury picked up in Tokyo last year really has compromised this last 10 months or so for him. He took gold there, but he has paid the price since. Yeah, holding his right hamstring, probably both his hamstrings hurting actually, because they've both been guilty of letting him down.
Maybe saying thank you to them. You know, thank you for lasting at 10,000 metres of the track.
I think you should be a nun. You always take such a positive thing.
No,
I'd be looking down at my hamstring, swearing at him.
No, I think you're right. He's probably grabbing them, saying, "Please don't start cramping now." But the former champion in 2022, congratulating Beecroft on taking the title. And in the end, Kihu did pick up 2 red warnings, or 2 warnings, so the Kenyan really pushed himself in that last kilometre or so and was close to serving a time penalty, which would have totally changed the race. But luckily, judging it right, managing that fatigue, and Declan Tingay is coming through for 4th place here. Another athlete who kind of made his career in the longer distances. He did pick up a silver in Birmingham behind Evan Dunphy, but today it's 4th place for Declan Tingay.
Well, Tingay there, shaking hands with his young compatriot. He's in his prime as well, Tingay. It just wasn't his day today. He's only 27. But that young man, 19 years old and Commonwealth champion. His time here, 38.45. That is the season's best. He has walked 38.02. That was last year when he was 18. Boy, oh boy. Walking, of course, in the UK doesn't get much prominence. It is huge in Eastern Europe and the Hispanic world, South America, Southern Europe, in fact, in general. In Italy, walking is given just as much respect as endurance running. Isn't that lovely? Evan Dunphy in the twilight of his career at the age of 35. That's a brilliant walk from him. It's been a very, very long 10 months since Tokyo, but he's managed it well enough to gain yet another medal in that long career. He actually served his apprenticeship, Evan Dunphy, too. He was 23rd in the World Youth 10,000 back in 2007. Here he is 19 years later with a mass of medals and great performances behind him, but he didn't start off as a super talented youngster at the beginning, whereas Isaac Beecroft, well, he started little athletics in Australia. It's a brilliant format of introducing youngsters to track and field athletics. He started at Beecroft when he was 4 years old. It's almost Ingebrigtsen-esque, isn't it? Because I think Jakob started when he was about 5 or 6, didn't he? Started training.
But that's the advantage Australia have as a nation in this discipline, is they get people race walking right from the go. You know, in Britain they say in a club you've got to run, run, jump and throw. Make sure you're a well-rounded athlete. But only some clubs then also kind of say, have a go at race walking, because it's much more mainstream in Australia. And it does yield loads of medals at every level for them. And Beecroft, I know, I'm going to tune into the World Juniors next week, see what happens for him
Absolutely.
in that race walk, because I think if he can recover, you say that long flight tomorrow to get all the way over to Eugene, over to the west coast of America, that will take a little bit out of him, but he has got a while until his event in that World Junior programme.
Do you think he got told, if you take the gold medal, you can turn left when you get on the plane?
Oh, we should definitely wear it. Full tracksuit and hang it around his neck. It's worth a try, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's Evan Dunphy, smiling through the pain, smiling through the discomfort.
So relatively close to the ball, but the officials over there, as well as the place in the bar, are sometimes knocking it off. As it falls down there. Windy conditions making it difficult for our top table officials as well.
Well, that makes it a clean sweep in the 10,000 metres for Australia. Kai Robinson, Rosie Davis.
Good point.
And now Isaac Beecroft. So they've got all the bragging rights over the 25 laps.
But that's nice, isn't it? Stephen Keogh saying it was only a tiny margin between us. It was about 4 metres or 5 metres at the line. Evan Dunphy giving Beecroft a tap on the shoulder there. So Beecroft from Australia, Isaac Beecroft, 19 years old, the youngest lad in the race, winning the men's 10,000 metre walk from Stephen Dirango Kihu, who took the silver for Kenya. Evan Dunphy for Canada, just outside 14 minutes, walking with 2 injured hamstrings, but taking that bronze. Declan Tingay in 4th place for Australia.
Time to catch up with the women's pole vault. This is Olivia McTaggart. Jumped up over 470 last year after a few years of frustrating results, where she wasn't quite feeling like she could convert her training potential into competition potential, and she's backed that up well this year, McTaggart. Oh, miles, absolutely miles over the bar here. Coming in at 4:30, should be comfortable for McTaggart. It's a balance between kind of finishing off your warm-up and also taking the pressure off yourself, and her teammate Eliza McCartney choosing the same opening height. McCartney was the oceanic record holder until Monaco, when Nina Kennedy went up over 495. So, bumped McCartney off that top spot by a single centimetre. Speed on the runway there for McCartney, and similar to McTaggart, miles over 4:30. Good recent form from McCartney. She jumped to 481 in the spring. And then, in the last 2 competitions, she was 2nd in Paris and 2nd in Budapest in one of the Continental Tour Gold events. So she is in form.
Well, Lyndon Victor throwing 63.06, almost 7 metres further than Lewis Church in that A group of the javelin. Damien Warner 55.54, some 10 metres back from the Grenadian. We'll see how that makes things pan out in points terms. Sammy Ball down in 9th place in that A group in the javelin. That won't do his cause any good.
And there's the standings after 9 events. Lyndon Victor with a 150-point buffer over Damien Warner. I think that could be a 3rd consecutive title for Victor, as long as that ankle's okay. Shankar nearly 90 points ahead of Sammy Ball. And that's gonna, I don't know how that will play out between Shankar and Ball. This 1,500 metres is gonna be intriguing. We'll try and do our number crunching. Good 5th at the moment for Lewis Church, and Callum Newby of Scotland in front of this crowd, doing well in 6th place. It's the second half of the field. Remember, Evan Campbell carrying the disqualification in the hurdles, so it really hurt his overall standings.
Jennifer Elizarov then of Canada, next to go. Now, she came in at 390. Had a little hiccup there, did Elizarov. That's she's a 450 vaulter from last year. Then popped over 410 first time. And now that's Elizarov exiting the competition with a 3rd time failure at 4:30. Disappointing that for the 22-year-old Canadian champion last year and this year. 4:45 she vaulted in Ottawa at the Canadian Champs just a few weeks ago.
This is unusual here from Imogen Ayres. She's in good form. She's got one more attempt at 4:30. It would be a big, big shock if the bronze medalist from last time round went out here. That's more like it. We didn't see the first two attempts. I can only imagine they had massive height, but not the accuracy required. And then Ayres matches the two other Kiwi athletes and going clear in 4:30. Nina Kennedy has passed up until the next height. The next bar height will be 4:45, and that will give us our first look at the defending champion.
Yeah, that's a nice vault from Ayres. Good, strong psychology. There was a lot of pressure there, but she's miles over, and she should be. She's a 4:81 vaulter this year. She's ranked equals 7th in the world. Scott Simpson there, our coach, giving her great feedback.
Final attempt at 4:30 as well for Gemma Tutton, this year's outdoor British champion. She's over studying at Duke University. She's done 4:50 this season. Oh, what a shame for Tutton, just drifting over to the right-hand side. And that does look like a bandaging there on her bicep. I'm wondering if it is some sort of accessory, but that does look like physio strapping. It's almost as though she's injured that bicep, which would make sense if she's exiting at 4:30.
Well, coming up, one of the great races of this evening session, this penultimate evening session, the women's 800 metres, Georgia Hunter-Bell there, world indoor champion. At 1,500 metres, goes up against Odera of Kenya, the world outdoor champion at 800 metres. And there's an athlete that you have a certain amount of interest in, Anna.
My husband coaches Izzy Boffey, who was just warming up there for the women's 800 metres for Wales. And gives us our first look now at Nina Kennedy back in the pole vault, opening up at 4:45. Wow, all of the women that have safely navigated 4:30 have been miles over. Unfortunately, Gemma Tutton and Jennifer Elizarov not getting clear at 4:30. We also lost Noreen Hussain of Pakistan at the opening height of 4:50. So there are just 4 women left in the competition to fight it out for 3 medals. It's not a massive field, but it's high quality. And it's Australia versus New Zealand. Kennedy out there all on her own. 3 Kiwis. No team tactics in the pole vault. They need to be jumping for themselves.
Well, Kennedy's so strong mentally, so super consistent and still improving at the age of 29, as we saw in Monaco a few weeks back. Here's Imogen Ayres of New Zealand, bronze medalist, as Hannah said, 4 years ago. She made the final in the Olympic Games in 2024. She made the final of the World Championships last year. She was 10th. And then took a share of the bronze medal at the World Indoors this year. This is her first attempt, Ayres, at 4:45, and she eases over that one without too much trouble. That's more like it. The 2 failures at 4:30, now forgotten. Popped over that at the 3rd time of asking very impressively, and that was a lovely clearance too. So back in the groove, settle down and refocus. The bar after this moves up to 4:55. From a 15-centimetre increment to 10-centimetre increments. And Ayres, well, she's a 4:81 vaulter, as I said, so she's got several heights in her yet, Hannah, if she can hold together and maintain that sort of form. Auckland-born Ayres, which makes me envious. Love Auckland, beautiful city. Trains with Olivia McTaggart, who came in at 4:30, popped over that first time.
And the spectators keeping their snacks high and getting into their seats. We've got a women's long jump T38 that is going to get started soon. That men's javelin final featuring so much talent. That gets underway in 15 minutes. It's actually only 35 minutes till we get a look at that men's decathlon and see how the medals are going to get decided. And Eliza McCartney, always a smile on the runway. Her first attempt at 4 meters 45, which should keep her level with Nina Kennedy. McCartney, I think, is just eyeing up the windsock here. The wind ribbons that are just in front of the pole vault mat, just choosing her moment. She's still got 30 seconds on the clock. The crosswind here coming from her left. It's tricky to manage. You do have to adapt your technique for that, and you might choose your moment when the wind's steady or when the wind drops. Great clearance from McTaggart. Apologies, McCartney, the other Kiwi athlete. McCartney goes clear, and McTaggart will jump next.
Yeah, perfect card there for Eliza McCartney. McTaggart it is who goes next. Let's have a look at this again. She's had more than her fair share of injuries over the years, McCartney. Since that bronze medal in Rio 10 or arguably 11 years ago now. She's dipped in and out, had good seasons and bad seasons. Actually born in Australia was Olivia McTaggart. McCartney here from Takapuna, just outside one of the southern suburbs of Auckland. Actually, northern suburbs, just think about the Harbour Bridge. When I was in New Zealand many, many years ago, I'm not going to tell you how many, but it's several decades, I used to do strides along Takapuna Beach. It's a beautiful beach, about a mile long if I remember rightly, and you could just do your repetitions on there in bare feet. Absolutely wonderful.
Probably
meant to
couldn't
be a
do
surfer as well.
Probably couldn't do pole vault there though, could you? Probably had to find elsewhere.
No, you could long jump,
do a
there's
pole
plenty
vault.
of sand. So here is McTaggart. Now, one failure at 4:45 so far. Oh, no. No. She's a 4:71 vaulter this year. Needs to get her head around this. She was 4th. That's 4 years ago. And actually 8th in the World Championships last year. She had a good time in Tokyo at those World Championships. She came into the sport after less than 6 months. She competed in the Australian Junior Championships in the under-16 event and won a bronze medal. She's a huge natural talent, McTaggart.
Coming up on the runway very, very shortly, we've got the women's long jump T38. This is for athletes with a mild to moderate impairment affecting 1 to 4 limbs. Olivia Breen will be hoping to get back on the podium. She was there back in 2018.
9 athletes will contest the women's T38 long jump final, coordination impairment category, and we're swooping in on the drone to speed all 9 of them.
Athletes just preparing themselves to be introduced.
Jumping at one, twice a Commonwealth Games medalist and the team captain of Wales, Olivia Breen.
Jumping at number 1, representing Team Wales, it's Olivia Breen. She was the defending champion in 2018.
Maddie Down.
Maddie Down, representing England, will go at number 2.
At 3, 19 years of age with the best of 4:62 set this year for Australia.
Sienna Newton, representing Australia. So Commonwealth debut.
Jumping at 4 with the best of 4:03 set this year for Northern Ireland.
Eve Walsh-Dan, representing Northern Ireland.
Jumping at 5, lifetime best of 4:55 in 2026. Just
Jumping at number 5, it's the young Australian. She's only 15 years old. Ayla Kalwizak.
Jumping at 6, a world silver medalist last year, representing Mauritius.
In number 6, representing Mauritius, it's Anias Angeline. She was second in the World Championships in 25.
4m17 for England, Elizabeth Dodds.
Representing England at number 7, it's Elizabeth
Jumping
Dodds.
at 8, she was 8th at the Paralympic Games in this event in the T37 category.
Representing
For
South Africa, it's Lizelle Gals. She's going to be the 100. She's doing the long jump tonight, and then she has the 200 to come.
4:86 this year for Australia.
And lastly, representing Australia, it's Layla Sharp. She's the Australian record holder.
And after that, the leader will be jumping last, and the 8th place, the top 8th place athlete jumping first. There is an indicator board on the
I bet Olivia Breen can wait to get back to the track.
She loves competing, Olivia. She's been around for quite a while now. She burst onto the scene really, really young. She had good success in her early years, and it's taken a little while to get back into that form again, but she really has come into form in the last few years.
Third time failure from a tagger for New Zealand in the pole vault. She is out, unfortunately.
Olivia Breen, she's a 5-metre jumper at best, and that looks big.
Here's the white flag. So, points on board, on which she can build. Welsh mother, Irish father.
It's out towards 5 metres. .509, that's not a bad start, is it? A game's record in your first jump. Olivia Breen means business.
What a way to start a competition. It was her games record from the Gold Coast back in 2018, and I think if anyone was hoping to cause an upset here today, when you see Olivia Breen start with a 5:09, they're going to be a bit disheartened then. I mean, she is the overwhelming favourite coming into this event, but you kind of got to keep that hope alive that Olivia Breen isn't on her best form for whatever reason, tired from the 100, emotionally, physically, but unfortunately the Welsh woman looking pretty good.
And that's what you want to do in your first round jump, isn't it? Put that big mark down, take all that pressure off your shoulders, and then you can just enjoy the rest of the competition. Where you flip that the other way, now the pressure's on Maddie Down. The young athlete from England, she was third in the 100 metres. She'll be hoping to get on the podium. She's at her best as a 5-metre jumper as well, so she can match what Olivia's just done.
And there will be lots at stake in the final event of the decathlon. The medals being decided, they're not clear cut there.
Yeah, Cohn's still out on the runway for Down. That's why she's staying wrapped up here. Gives us a chance to catch up with the pole vault. Olivia McTaggart on a third and final attempt at 4 metres and 45. And the attempts have looked a bit scrappy from McTaggart. She's done 4.71 this season. At the moment, just 4 athletes still jumping. So McTaggart has to clear this if she wants to get involved in the medals. Oh, that was one of the best attempts here from Olivia McTaggart, but look at her, absolutely distraught. She was 4th in 2022 on countback, and she's improved so much in the last 4 years, and it's so frustrating to make those improvements on the circuit. The World Championships last year, and then just to come to nothing here at a competition that means so much to New Zealand as a nation. They love competing at the Commonwealth Games, and for McTaggart, Commonwealth Games medal would have meant so much for her.
So, back to the outstanding favourite, Nina Kennedy. She is the defending champion. She is a very, very tough customer, hard to beat. Took the bronze medal back in 2018. 8 years ago now, and she was 21 years old. 8th at the World Indoors that same year. But just a mass of medals dotted through her career. Shared gold at the 2023 World Championships in Budapest. Sweltering heat there. And then took Olympic gold in Paris 2 years back. Now, first attempt 4.55. Yeah, lovely. Loads of power. Power to spare. It's only her second vault. She popped over 4.45. And a first time clearance there. Very important. That might yet turn out to be a winning vault. It's low by her standards. She has cleared 4.95, remember, this year, but a first time clearance. And there is an advantage vaulting first like that. As the champion, she can pop over a height just like that, and the others now have got to try and match it each time. Born in Busselton, West Australia. coached by Paul Burgess. Burge was a 6-metre vaulter himself, all of 21 years ago now. And her club is the University of West Australia Athletics Club, Kennedy. And in the driving seat at the moment, and the pressure now on Eris of New Zealand.
Imogen Eris up next, as expected. It's the Kiwis versus the Australian, Eris and McCartney, the last two standing for New Zealand. And Eris over here, wriggles over. And her teammate, Eliza McCartney, has a clean scorecard. She could almost do with McCartney jumping first and then Eris having the opportunity just to pass her height, because with those couple of failures at 4:30, she has to better Kennedy or Eris if she wants to beat them. So she's almost wasting energy kind of by jumping first. I mean, yes, it's brilliant. She's over here at 4:55, but she's almost kind of blind in terms of passing to try and surpass her teammate, and she has to spend the energy doing the jump, but that's the way it is. And perhaps she wouldn't make a different decision anyway. So she's just asking the officials to change the position of the uprights there. That's not, I don't think that's her skipping a height or anything.
Eliza McCartney then. 2 vaults done. As Hannah said, a clean card so far. Now 4:55 her. Can she follow suit? An Aussie, an Australasian cousin almost, and a teammate, McCartney, about to go here. Still fresh. Eris, her teammate, took 3 attempts at her opening height, 4:30, and then has started a sequence of first-time clearances. This for McCartney, though, would be a 3rd time clearance. I wonder what she's thinking when she smiles like that. It's positive. You've got to be confident. Know you're going to get over. Well, she did know, didn't she? Yeah, wonderful stuff. Hannah, you think it's coincidence that the Australasians are in 1, 2, and 3? And 4, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or is it the fact that they go home, and when we're in winter, they have a beautiful summer to train in great warmth, and then they come over to Europe, where, of course, the track and field circuit is centred, and they enjoy the European summer?
Well, if you look at McCartney, well, Eris particularly spends a lot of the year in Loughborough, so I hope she gets to go home for her summer, around about Christmas time.
Well, the men's javelin about to get underway, and this is probably one of the strongest events in these Commonwealth Games. Just about nobody is missing. It's incredibly strong. There you can see the second page. The first page rocketed by, but it includes the Olympic champion from 2021. It includes the Olympic champion from 2024. Let's take a look at these fellas, though. There's Yashvir Singh. Well done qualifying the world champs last year. He's 24. He's an 83-metre thrower. Ben East of Great Britain, the UK of England, the UK champion this year. Personal best in Nice back in the middle of June.
Vastly improved Cameron McIntyre will throw 3rd. Former Olympic champion Neeraj Chopra of India will throw 4th.
Reigning Olympic champion from Pakistan, Arshad Nadeem. He's the defending champion. Took gold in 2022 in the Commonwealth record, over 19 metres. And Chincheram Namdi there, 6th in the throwing order.
Peters is on a bronze, silver, and today streak at the Commonwealth Games. Can he finally get a gold? Strawn of Bahamas, national record for them back in March.
Rohit Yadav of India, 6th 4 years ago. He's an 87-metre thrower. And Rumesh Tharanga Pafiragi, he is the world #1 this year with 92 metres.
Reigning world champion Kishore Walcott will throw 11th, and Doe Smith of South Africa, the final athlete. The quality of this men's javelin field is absolutely obscene.
There was only one real shock, wasn't there, in qualifying? That was Julius Yego of Kenya going out in qualifying. That was a shame. He's in the top 10 all time in this discipline with over 92 metres, but otherwise, this is as packed a field as you will get anywhere at the Olympics, World Championships, you name it. This might as well be like an Olympic final.
It really is. And to say you've got the last 2 Olympic champions, the last 4 world champions. It's just a little greedy here in Glasgow, and we've been looking forward to it all week. Yashvir Singh could look forward to it once he made the final, but a toe over the line here for the Indian. The third string Indian. The Indians have got 3 men in this final. For a nation that love their cricket, it makes sense that they've also got great javelin throwers. Pretty easy for the official there. Singh, and the javelin did go out towards the 80-metre mark for Singh, so that would have been such a lovely start for him.
Yeah, that's a real shame. It was a really solid opener for the 24-year-old. Ben East next to go for England. 80.49, his personal best. Can he do something special here with his opening effort? Oh, it's looking good, it's looking good. That's a personal best, I think, for Ben East. Wow, 80.49, his lifetime best. Came a few weeks ago on the 13th of June, and I think he's just added a few centimetres to his lifetime best. He's been very consistent, over 80 metres in most of his last 4 or 5 competitions, and he's done it again here tonight. Absolutely superb from Ben East. He might not get up there with the fellas who can throw in the high 80s, but he's moving upwards. 81.12. That's a decent step forward, and it'll give his confidence a huge boost, a lifetime best, and the adrenaline will be pumping now.
Cameron McIntyre out next. 85 metres 73 was a 2.5 metre PB. And sometimes it's hard for athletes when they do something they've never done before. You feel like a perfect day, but you've got to try and recapture it, recreate it. Ben East has been chipping away, making small improvements. But McIntyre, a massive jump out to 85 metres. I wonder if he takes confidence or pressure from that. Oh, just staying the right side of the line. Not hitting that throw well by his standards. Bit of a severe dip, not like we saw in qualification, where in the first round so many of the men, the wind just seemed to be catching the nose of the javelin, sending it straight to the ground. But at 71 metres 66 for McIntyre, will not be pleased with that.
The first of the very big names to throw next, it's Neeraj Chopra, Commonwealth champion in 2018. He's a massive talent. He was World Junior champion back in 2016, Commonwealth champion 2018, Olympic champion 2021, World champion 2023. He's taken every title available to him. World Junior, Commonwealth, World and Olympic golds are his. Always will be. Through 79 metres in qualifying to make this final without too much trouble. Now, this could be special. Millions and millions will be watching him in India. Does he hit that one right, Chopra? Well, it's not bad. It's about 81 metres. I don't know if it's as good as Ben East's opener, the Englishman. 81.12, remember, that has the lead at the moment, but most of the big names yet to come. You won't be happy with that. Chopra, 80.97 for Chopra. He can add, well, some 10 metres or so onto that. Only last year did he actually join the 90-metre club. He's a wonderful competitor, but it took him 3 or 4 years, really, longer than expected, to get over 90 metres. I think he was mighty relieved when he did. 90.23 he threw in Doha in May last year.
Kowalczyk on the runway for a first round attempt. Looks good on the board. A little nervous smile from Kowalczyk. She's a 4.55 jumper at her best. Excellent on the board. 4.58, that's a personal lifetime best for Ayla Kowalczyk. Puts her into, put her up into second place. Angeline of Mauritius.
Standing by to meet the 12 athletes. On this home screen now,
Looked good. She looks okay with it.
Second, the British champions, first Commonwealth final for England, Ben East. 3 times the national champion of Australia, Cameron McIntyre.
9 centimetres clearance on the ball. She looks happy. 4.71. That puts it into second place.
Next we welcome the Olympic champion, the defending Commonwealth champion.
Having a look at the athletes warming up for the women's 4 hurdles Emily Newman of England could become England's first champion since Sally Gunnell. Gunnell did the double in 1990, 1994. So Savannah Sutherland, who has been dealing with some injury issues. If she's at her best form, the Canadian could definitely challenge for the gold medal. The hurdles final coming up a little bit later on to work our way through this evening. Next action on the track will be the women's 800-metre final. That's in around about 5 minutes, featuring the world champion. Here we go. We are going to have a look at the start list. Features the world champion Lillian Adira against the silver medalist from Tokyo last year, Georgia Hunter-Bell. It's a totally stacked women's 800 metres. Shafika Maloney of St Vincent and the Grenadines, one to watch in this as well. She was 4th at the Olympic Games in Paris. Real breakthrough performance there for Maloney. In Australia, and I think this week you can't bet against the Australians. They are delivering under pressure, really rising to the occasion. Here is Hunter-Bell. Season's best this year was a totally solo run at the British Championships at 155.93. Adira is on 156 this season. Billings on 157, but times do not matter once you get to a championships. It's about tactics and delivering your best effort, measuring your best effort against those around you. Shafika Maloney does like to lead sometimes. I saw her do that in the semi-final, pretty quick through the opening lap, 57 or so. And still had the ability to close strongly in the final 50. Hunter-Bell's tactics are often absolutely brilliant, but she's got a big test in Lillian Adira today. Isabel Boffey will start us off in lane 8. The Welsh woman is in her Commonwealth Games debut. It's her first major final. New lifetime best this year, 157.43. The reigning world champion from Kenya, Lillian Adira. Good wins on the circuit, particularly the Prefontaine Diamond League, where she ran away from all the best women there. Orator Norway of Botswana will go in lane 6. African silver this year. She is their national record holder with 156 from last year. Georgia Hunter-Bell, Olympic bronze medalist, world silver medalist, world indoor champion, whose titles spread across 800 and 1500, but she selected the 2 laps for this championships. Billings of Australia broke the oceanic record this season, 157.01. She's very good at judging her effort. St Vincent and the Grenadines are represented in this final by Shafika Maloney. She's their national record holder, 157.25 last year, close to that this year. This year's Jamaican national champion will go in lane 2, Kellyanne Beckford. First round looked a little shaky. She looked brilliant, though, to make this final in her semi-final yesterday. And the final athlete in lane 1, Rachel Klopfenstein of Mauritius, in her Commonwealth Games debut. Most of her career competing for Switzerland. And got married this year and switched to represent Mauritius and changed her surname and her nation. And she's still a high-quality athlete, of course. Eight women for the women's 800-metre final. It's hard to believe Georgia Hunter-Bell doesn't already have a Commonwealth Games medal, given the accolades she's already built up. Lillian Adira as well is here in her Commonwealth Games debut. Let's see, have we got anybody that fancies leading this race? Oratil Norway of Botswana just darting to the front and then looking around and saying, I don't want it to be me. Kloptenstein trying to hold her own on the inside. She won't want to get squeezed by the pack here. And Isabel Bothy of Wales pulls up alongside Georgia Hunter-Bell. I'm not sure Hunter-Bell would want to lead this ideally, but it was a decision she made down the back straight there in the big pack.
Yeah, Hunter-Bell has found herself at the front. Izzy Bothy's positioned herself nicely, and Adira just poised exactly where. Adira is never ever going to lead a race out. She's so tactically aware. But we do know that Hunter-Bell is very, very strong. The athletes are really bunching up now. And you see Billings just coming, making her way towards the front as they approach the bell.
It's not that quick through the bell, 60 seconds. And Georgia Hunter-Bell could squeeze this from the front. It was a good move from Billings at around about 300 metres when she probably saw the split there and thought this isn't all that fast. Hunter-Bell staying at the front, but I think she's just starting to lift. I think Hunter-Bell will try and lift every 100 metres here in Glasgow. Billings is on her shoulder, Kloptenstein on the inside. Shafika Maloney looking for space on the outside, and Lillian Adira, the world champion. We're nearly in the last 200 and the world champion is in 6th place. It's so tight down there on the track, everybody trying to find some positioning. And Hunter-Bell has gone for the long kick for home. There was an increase of pace into the final 200 metres. She checks the screens. Billings is right behind her. Adira grits her teeth on the outside. But Hunter-Bell has got some space over the rest of the field. It's Georgia Hunter-Bell for her first Commonwealth Games title, striding away from Lillian Adira. Adira didn't get close enough to her in that final 100. It's a title for Hunter-Bell, 1:59.50. And Billings perhaps getting the best of Adira over the line. What a run from Hunter-Bell. We don't see her lead on the circuit. She so often sits in and then she's effective in the last 30 seconds of the race. It was very similar tactics there, a big, big push at 200. And that look up at the screen for me, Danny, and I think she, with 100 to go, she spotted Adira wasn't right there and thought, oh, go now, get a gap on her and make her chase.
I think you was exactly right. You saw her glance up. She saw Adira hadn't made her move yet, and she knew that was the time. She's very, very strong, Hunter-Bell, and she knew if she was going to go, she had to go now. She's got such a turn of pace as well that if she could get a march on Adira, she would get her out in front of her, and Adira wouldn't be able to make it up. Adira, for me, she's almost fell asleep a little bit. She found herself back in 6th position on the back straight with 250 metres to go.
Absolutely right. Fell asleep is a good way of putting it. Ran naively, maybe. She was not in an attacking position with 200 to go. Round the top bend, when Billings started attacking, that's when Hunter-Bell changed gear, came into the straight and accelerated massively. She's got very deceptive speed, and Adira was metres back already with 150 to go. She closed a little bit with 100 to go, and then when Georgia Hunter-Bell kicked away for England, Adira was absolutely unable to respond. She allowed Hunter-Bell to dominate that one, and as a world champion, she should have been paying much, much closer attention to Georgia Hunter-Bell. Don't forget, she ran 1:55, a solo run in Birmingham in the sunshine a few weeks back. What, about 6 weeks ago, Georgia Hunter-Bell? She was the class act in that one, and Adira should have been paying her far more respect.
We've got a load of brilliant middle distance clashes here at the Commonwealth Games. This is the first final out of them. We'll see the men's 800 and both mile races coming up later tomorrow. But Hunter-Bell, there would have been a temptation there. I wonder, Tim, if Hunter-Bell was tempted just to absolutely solo it from the front. Instead, she did her normal tactics, just without as much traffic around her. And Sarah Billings positioned herself perfectly for Australia to pick up the bronze medal here. And that's the first medal for Australia since 1990, 36 years. So Sharon Stewart won a bronze medal, and Lillian Adira just got it a little bit wrong there. I know what you guys are saying. There was definitely a lapse of concentration from Adira, but it was capitalised on immediately by Hunter-Bell. You know, if you didn't have that big screen, I think Hunter-Bell would have waited and just built momentum in that last 100. But instead she went, oh, hang on a minute, if I kick now, I'm away, I'm done.
She could have won it however she'd run it, I think. I think she'd front run the first lap in 57. She'd have won that one, frankly. There's not a lot of her to give slipstreaming to the others or any advantage in that respect, but Danny, that was as convincing a victory, I think, as we've seen all week on the track.
I think so as well, and I think the form that Hunter Bell's brought into this championships, it just set it up nicely for her.
A win for Georgia Hunter Bell, a gold, a Commonwealth title with 1:59.51. Lillian Aderia, the world champion, in second. Sarah Billings, her first major medal, a bronze for Australia. And the way that race was run, it was 60 seconds for the first lap, 59 for the second, and the last 200 was probably the quickest.
So, Eliza McCartney then. Clean card so far. First attempt at 4:65 coming up for the Kiwi. Only 6th in the world indoors. Earlier on this year, she was 6th in the Olympic Games in Paris. The Takapuna, originating from Takapuna, on the north shore of Auckland. Now, here she goes. Oh, that's nice. Lovely from McCartney. First time clearance at 4:65. Maintains her clean card. And she's in fine form, isn't she? She has cleared 4:81 this year. It's easy to forget that she is well embedded in the world top 10 this year. On the all-time list, she's a 4:94 vaulter. She's right behind Eliza McCartney. Behind Kennedy on the all-time list.
Nina Kennedy very much in the driving seat in this pole vault. There's a second time clearance at 4:65, but the driving seat comes, I think, with that 4:95 for Monaco, and a string of injuries that Nina Kennedy has had. It was 3 hamstring tears in 6 weeks or so, and she made the decision to have surgery. She could have rehabbed it in different ways, but she decided surgery was best, and in the end, it was a very long rehab for her, 5 months rehabbing that hamstring. It was in 2025, and then the day before she was due to fly out to Tokyo to take part in the World Championship, she strained her hamstring again and had to end the 2025 season before it had even started. So to be back up to 4:95 is so impressive after missing that whole year. And I don't know, I think many of the women will know the force they're up against in Nina Kennedy.
So in this men's javelin, first throw of the second round. He had a no throw in the first round, Yashvir Singh. It was about an 80-metre effort. This is a second round effort. Well, that's about 78 metres, there or thereabouts. It's a shame his first round he stepped over the white line by millimetres. But that is solid. Chopra leads from the first round, 80.97. Ben East 81.97, 81.12 in the first round. That was a personal best. He actually led the first round, did Ben East, with that 81.12. Chopra, the only other athlete over 80 metres. For Singh there, 78.55.
There's how the decathlon is after 9 events. Lyndon Victor leading the way. He's trying to get a hat-trick of titles. Said he wants to emulate Daley Thompson. He's got 3 3/4 laps between him and a third consecutive gold. And he's got a healthy buffer ahead of Damien Warner. Warner is a great runner on paper. His lifetime best is from a few years ago, though. So I think Victor will just try and stay within touching distance of Warner.
184 points, the difference between these two. There's Evan Campbell. Well, this decathlon 1,500 metres, they're all running it as the one race. There is 2 of Kenya. Max Atwell, he's in 9th place at the moment. Quite a long way behind Joel McFarlane here, the Scot. He's in 8th place, McFarlane. The Nigerian, Jamie Schluter, in 7th place, 6.99.4. He's had a great couple of days, as indeed has Callum Newby. 2 Scots in the top 8. Callum Newby, absolutely fabulous this last couple of days. Good vaulting from him, 5 metres, and then 42 in the javelin. Church there, Lewis Church, he vaulted supremely. So has Sammy Ball, had an amazing couple of days, in 4th place, battling for a medal here. He's just over 100 points behind Shankar of India. Damien Warner of Canada, 7.340. He's, 148 points behind Lyndon Victor. That's quite a cushion for Lyndon Victor. So, 3 3/4 laps of the track. It's the one discipline these fellas absolutely hate. I can tell you that 1 second is about 7 points in this discipline. So Lyndon Victor would have to lose to Damien Warner by some 18, 19 seconds, something like that. I don't think that's going to help, even though the big Grenadan is not a big fan of this discipline. None of them are really. And it's one of the Scots who roars to the front. With the Church, I think, that is in second place. Lyndon Victor, third from the back, going for that hat-trick here to emulate Daley Thompson as a 3-time Commonwealth champion, too. The Kenyan in third place at the moment, just beside Church, but Newby, well, 7.030. He's only 75 points behind Lewis Church. Lewis Church, they will try and keep him within distance. That's about a 10-second margin, almost 11-second margin that Newby needs to beat Church by. That's a tall order.
Well, Newby on about 4:15 pace, judging by that first 300 metres, and I wondered if Lewis Church might try and pacemake Sammy Ball, sort of England effort here, and Sammy Ball might need to be about 15 seconds ahead of Jaswant Shankar of India to change the fourth and third positions. The Indian there, the dark blue vest of India, making sure he stays pretty close here to Sammy Ball.
The Kiwi Atwell is up there as well in fifth place. You can see leading that second group of three, that trio, is the defending champion. He's the reigning champion, the defending champion, and the likely champion is Lyndon Victor. 7.488. And he's a little way behind Damien Warner, who's right at the back of that middle pack of 6. Damien Warner, though, 7.340, knows, I think, that it's an Everest between him and Lyndon Victor, which is effectively, barring disaster for Lyndon Victor there, probably the biggest fella of all of them. Third from the back, who's a surprisingly effective bolter. 4.70 cleared in the pole vault. I mean, what's really the disastrous discipline for Damien Warner was that pole vault, wasn't it? He went out so much earlier, several heights lower than he could have, might have wanted.
I agree, Tim, but it was 90 points Warner gave away there, which is of course significant, but it was about more than just that pole vault, wasn't it? I mean, I think it was Warner faltering in the pole vault, but then Victor just, games record in the discus. He was brilliant in the javelin as well. He is quite adrift from Warner here at the moment, Lyndon Victor, as they go through the kilometre mark here. There he is, and passing through, sorry, not quite a kilometre yet, 900 metres. And Lewis Church pushing on at the front here.
Well, Shankar is in 6th place in the blue. He's 68 points behind Damien Warner. That represents almost exactly 10 seconds. So Damien Warner just needs to keep that tall figure of the big Indian in his sights. And at the moment, there's only 5 metres or so between. There's Warner at the back of this group in the red and white of Canada. Atwell giving it everything here as he comes through to hear the bell this time. That'll be like music to their ears as Atwell is really giving it a big acceleration there down this home straight and easing away from Church and Ball, the Brits in 5th and 4th respectively. Now watch the gaps. Damien Warner keeping sensibly close to Shankar to not allow that gap to grow. Lyndon Victor is jogging round the track. Well, Damien Warner needs 20 seconds on Lyndon Victor. He's probably got about 6 or 7 seconds on him at the moment, not nearly enough.
Well, I counted, just my crew counting here, 11 seconds. I mean, I don't think Damien Warner can find another 10 seconds in 300 metres. But what about Atwell? Enjoying himself out here in Glasgow, finishing on a high. It's been a massive season's best for the Kiwi.
I make it 13 seconds as they went through 200 metres. Damien Warner there, left a picture in the white vest, is giving it everything. Atwell brilliant here, but it's all about the destination of the medal. Look at Atwell, the head bobbing from side to side. That's a good time for a decathlete. Church in second. The Briton Sammy Ball, the Englishman Sammy Ball in third. Great running there from the Scots. Shankar comes home, that surely will secure the bronze for him. But has Warner done enough? Here comes the double champion. Is it going to be a triple champion, Lyndon Victor? The gap needs to be, I think he's done enough. Yes, he does retain his gold, Lyndon Victor. Hannah's sitting here with a watch on it. It was closer than we expected it to be, because Lyndon Victor collapses to the track there in the red vest of Grenada. Absolutely spent. I mean, he almost let that gold medal slip out of his hands, and Damien Warner, credit to him for giving it so much effort through that final 300 metres. He tore probably at about 8 seconds on the final lap out of Lyndon Victor, but just fell short. By how many seconds, I'm not sure just yet. We're waiting for that to come up, but it was much, much closer than we expected. So Warner came home in 4:37. Lyndon Victor, 4:51. Well, it was about a 5-second cushion in actual fact, I think, that Lyndon Victor had there to retain his title and be a triple Commonwealth champion. That takes something. That is quite some application. 2018 to 2022, through the COVID period, through the COVID years, and into 2026. Wow.
In the end, it was 14 seconds between Lyndon Victor and Damien Warner. Warner really gave it a go, and I'm sure Damien Warner is thinking back to that pole vault where it just didn't go his way. There was one attempt, wasn't there, but it came off with his own pole rather than even his body hitting the bar. The Warner absolutely exhausted, accepting the handshakes, but he can't even get up. And I think it's worth noting as well that Lyndon Victor, he's not done this totally healthy. He's been carrying an injury as well. He's had a very heavily strapped ankle. So he's pushed his body to the limit to match Daley Thompson. He said that was his hope and his dream.
Well, the Indians have been making inroads in a variety of disciplines here in Scotstoun. And that's another one. Shankar securing that bronze medal. Warner, the silver, meeting his match and more today in the figure of this man, Lyndon Victor. Giant of a man. Great running from Atwell to come home for that win. Season's best, 4:28. Lewis Church second, Sammy Ball third. Joel McFarlane, it was the best of the Scots, coming home in fourth. And then Shankar, for a big fella, he can shift, 4:36 his time. And Warner was only half a second behind him. And then it was the long wait for Lyndon Victor, but as Hannah said, about 14 seconds. And I think he had about a 19-second cushion. So he was 5 seconds, therefore about 30, 35 points safe from losing the grasp on the gold that was looking fairly likely.
Brilliant, heroic effort from Lyndon Victor over 2 days and 10 events. Taking the respect and the hugs from the other competitors. There's the results of the race. Max Atwell winning 4:28, Lewis Church 4:30 just behind. And, you can see Lyndon Victor in 11th place in the 1500.
And overall, Lyndon Victor, the champion, 8:096. It was 60 points eventually, his cushion look. Shankar, another 60, back nice symmetry to that. And no great surprises there. Will there be in this pole vault? It's going to script at the moment.
The bar at 4:70, and Eris passed her second attempt at 4:65. Touched on that a few moments ago because she was going to have to jump better, higher than McCartney if she was going to beat her teammate. And well, since then, actually, the amount of failures picked up by these women, it's totally turned it all up. But Eris here, one more jump to stay in the competition. You could see her just try and wriggle over, but it's not to be because she passed her remaining attempts at 4:65. That's the end of the road for Eris. Matches the bronze medal she picked up in Birmingham. And that leaves a real scrap here between Eliza McCartney and Nina Kennedy. And we'll just pause for the medal ceremony for the men's race walk.
So the medal ceremony for the 10,000 metre race walk now. Evan Dunphy of Canada taking the bronze. Dunphy, the world champion last year. Dunphy world champion. Over 35k in Tokyo last year. And Stephen Dangri Kihu takes the silver for Kenya. 38.46. He was just over a second down on the eventual champion. A personal best for him. Dunphy's time, by the way, 40.03. It was a lonely race for him. The two men behind him, both put in the penalty zone. One of them eventually disqualified. Tingay took fourth. But the champion, well, he's just 19 years old, Isaac Beecroft. The season's best for him, 38.45. The speed he generated when he entered the back straight for the final time is quite astonishing. Kicked away from Kihu. And that sounds a bit strange when you know it's race walking, but he did do just that. He upped his tempo, he upped his stride length, stuck within the rules, and finished as a great champion, still as a teenager. Well, we've heard that a few times this week, and I've no doubt we're going to hear it a few times more. Isaac Beecroft, Commonwealth #1 coming into this, Commonwealth record holder, Commonwealth champion now. And heading off to the World Under-20 Championships in Eugene tomorrow, where Rob Walker will be doing some of the commentary, along with various colleagues. It's a long old week of fabulous World Under-20 athletics that he'll be working on.
So into round two of the men's javelin. This is Neeraj Chopra, won this title back in 2018. That kind of kick-started his international career, really, Chopra. Oh, he liked that. He really enjoyed that. 80 metres, 97 in the first round. That's way further. I loved that from the Indian. He wasn't even looking down the field. He didn't care. He turned round. Maybe he was watching it on the big screen, hoping that would give him a hint. But he really, really enjoyed that. Yeah, rushed back to competing last year with a back injury. And, underperformed in Tokyo. Instead, he set himself back so much. Took him months and months to get healthy. But he is healthy now.
Anna, I think that's absolutely fascinating. The moment he released it, he knew it was right. It's ingrained, that technique. He knows when all the little factors they have to put together are right, when the timing's right, the position is right, the angle of release is right. He knew immediately, didn't need to look at it. He turned around before the spear had gone 10 metres.
Chopra's fired up, and Kennedy on a third and final attempt here at 4 metres and 70. I've got to admit, I did not expect Nina Kennedy to be under pressure here in Birmingham. That 4.95 in Monaco, and the performances on the circuit have been brilliant. But at the moment, Eliza McCartney, with fewer failures, as the advantage on the Australian. She has to clear if she wants to defend her title. No, it's a failure for Nina Kennedy. So, well, a big, big surprise after that 4 metres 95 new oceanic record. I know, I can't read the body language here. I mean, it's certainly not ecstatic, is it, from Nina Kennedy?
That's one of the biggest shocks of the week, because Nina Kennedy was probably one of the strongest nailed-on favourites of the entire track and field programme here. Back to the track, though, for yet more finals, and there's plenty more to come.
Women's 4 hurdles up next. We saw them a couple of days ago in their qualification round. This is Savannah Sutherland of Canada in lane 8. She broke Sydney McLaughlin-Lavrone's NCA record a couple of years ago. Finished strongly in her heat yesterday. Lena Nielsen of England will go in lane 7. Olympic Games semi-finalist, good form recently, 54.69. Sanique Walker will go in lane 6 for Jamaica, this year's Jamaican champion. Emily Newman of England goes in 5. She's their fastest athlete in the field this year, the only athlete underneath 54 seconds. Jeanne Solman has gone underneath 54 seconds in her career, underneath 53 even, 52.97 back in 2024. Vanessa Karubo of Kenya goes in lane 3. She made the NCAA final this year and then won the Kenyan National Championships. Brooke Overholt of Canada, the national champion this year, goes in lane 2. And Sarah Carley of Australia, semi-finalist at last year's World Championships, Oceanic champion this year. The best of 55.21 this year and 54.29 in her career. So Newnham of England, a lot of pressure on her shoulders here. Jamaica have won the last 2 championships. Both Sanique Walker and Jeanne Solman have got the credentials to challenge Newman for the gold. Newman, the up-and-coming athlete, big breakthrough season for her. And this is her first real test on the major stage. The women's 400-metre hurdles final to decide the Commonwealth Games title.
Set.
10 barriers spread out around the track for these women for the 400-metre hurdles final. The Jamaican there in lane 4. Solman has got a bit of a start, jumped up towards Emily Newman. Stride pattern is absolutely imperative for these women to get it right, to judge your effort right. Newman at the moment giving away some ground to the 2 Jamaicans either side of her. Who's rising first here? Nothing to choose between Solman and Walker, the 2 Jamaicans moving so well. Savannah Sutherland having a brave race out in lane 8. She's been dealing with injuries, the Canadian. But I think that was Sanique Walker of Jamaica rising first in lane 6. There she goes. Is it going to be a 3rd consecutive title for Jamaica? Sanique Walker striding home, this year's Jamaican champion, with just 1 barrier between her and the line. Emily Newman is on the charge, but it could be too little, too late for Newman, or is it? Oh, what a dive for the finish here. Sanique Walker was aggressive throughout the race and was rewarded. And Emily Newman, I don't know whether she paced that right or not, maybe left herself too much to do. But Newnham will get the silver, and Jamaica, as I said, make it 3 titles in a row at the Commonwealth Games. And Savannah Sutherland coming through for the bronze medal. I mentioned the fast time she's run. That was all last year, and she's been really disrupted with injuries. Sutherland, so that's very impressive for her to come through to 3rd.
Well, Walker, a personal best for her. Absolutely brilliant. And she took it to them. She knew the big names were inside her from lane 6. She was running relatively blind, but that was a strangely... I mean, she looks pretty happy with her silver medal, Emily Newnham, and she should be. It's a major championship medal. It's worth its weight in gold almost, but she ran strangely, I think, subdued the first 300. She gave herself a mountain to climb down the home straight, and she nearly got to the summit. Here, look, she's way down. Look at Walker clear there. She clears that one in 3rd place, 2 to go, and she just gives herself too much to do, and she finished like a rocket here over the last 60. Quite why she left herself with so much work to do, I do not know. I don't think she expected Walker to go away like that. After all, Walker did go to a new personal best by over half a second. That's quite a big chunk to take off. But Emily Newnham delighted with that silver for England. And Sutherland, brilliant bronze for the Canadians. But Sanique Walker, well, she did everything that could have been asked of her. And strong enough, Hannah, off the final barrier to keep her charging Newnham at bay. That was critical.
Good spot there, Tim, with the half a second PB. I hadn't seen that for Walker. She's just getting better with every race. And I think when you win the Jamaican National Championships, it always gives you kind of a sheen of respectability. And then Sneak Walker proving that that wasn't a flash in the pan, you're right, by lowering her lifetime best by half a second to take the Commonwealth Games title. And Newnham did look pleased with the silver medal, and Sutherland, I think, will be pleased with the bronze once she recovers.
Eliza McCartney then, third and final attempt at 470. She's won this with a perfect card up to including 465. Nina Kennedy, a real shock this, her being beaten with a first-time failure at 465 and then a second-time clearance. She lost the gold. This is McCartney's third and final attempt at 470, and she so nearly got that. Wow, very, very close indeed. Just misses out on it, but it matters not a jot because it's gold for New Zealand. And Eliza McCartney and Nina Kennedy will be bitterly disappointed. She's smiling, she's hiding the disappointment pretty well, but she must be very, very disappointed because she came here in such a rich vein of form, Hannah. You called it earlier on. She's been magnificent, majestic on the Diamond League circuit, and this the most important day of her year so far.
It is, and Kennedy will be gutted to lose that title. And this is only the second time in the history of the Commonwealth Games that Australia haven't won. Emily Newman, apologies, Alicia Newman won the title on the Gold Coast in front of the Australian crowd for Canada. That wasn't very popular, but apart from that, it's been Canadian dominance back-to-back. But now Eliza McCartney bucking the trend as well, taking gold for New Zealand.
And a brace of medals for the Kiwis with Imogen Aris taking the bronze. Indeed, Olivia McTaggart in fourth place as well. They did nearly get that 1, 2, 3. Nina Kennedy was always going to be the one that disrupted that clean sweep for the Kiwis, but they couldn't have done much better than 1, 3 and 4. Gemma Tutton in fifth for England. Jennifer Elizarov of Canada in sixth, and Noreen Hussain, unfortunately, unable to clear her opening height.
Confirmation of the women's pole vault, a surprise win for Eliza McCartney, 465 over Nina Kennedy. Imogen Aris in bronze. Kiwis picking up first and second, and it was an Australian there with the silver.
Sneak Walker then, the champion in the 400-metre hurdles with a new personal best, over half a second quicker than ever before. Emily Newnham in second place there. That's absolutely brilliant from her. And Sutherland, the first Canadian medal in 24 years for them since Carleen Horton took a bronze back in 2002. Well, the next event on the track, the men's 400-metre hurdles. And this one promises to be another beauty as well. The athletes out on the track, not yet stripped down. But, well, it will be tight, this one. There's no doubt about it. Plenty of home country's interest here with the Englishman Seamus Derbyshire in lane 5. The other English, Minchell, goes in lane 7. But Ezekiel Nathaniel, well, he is the class act here, 47.37 man this year. He is the world number 3 this season. There's the Guernsey athlete, the green-clad Alistair Chalmers. He's in lane 4. Good lane draw that for the UK champion, bronze medalist 4 years ago. Semi-finalist in the 24 Olympics, semi-finalist in the World Championships last year. Alistair Chalmers, born in St. Peter Port. Coached by Matt Elias, who was a fabulous 400-metre hurdler, the Welshman. Liked to dye his hair strange colours, if I remember rightly, old Matt. But great lad. And there is Wilson. He goes on the outside, Asini Wilson. Jamaican champion this year. Did that back in March. His 48.29 lifetime best from earlier on this year. There's Jake Minchell, he goes in 7. UK Championship bronze medalist, the Englishman. Very consistent in recent weeks, including his PB. Watch Minchell in 7. There's Nathaniel, he starts here as favourite, only 23. 47.11. He's nearly a member of the sub-47 club. The Nigerian in 6. Seamus Derbyshire, he's in fabulous form too. He too, very consistent in recent weeks, even though only 4th in that highly competitive UK Championships in Birmingham. There's Chalmers, reigning Commonwealth bronze medalist, if you can reign as a bronze medalist, but very consistent too in 4. Nice lane draw. Denick Luke of Dominica goes in lane 3. He's a 48.37 athlete. Don't write him off either. Very good performer. And Santoshi Kumar Tamilarasan of India, second in the Indian Championship, 49.06, his lifetime best. And then the Indian champion in lane 1. So Indians in lanes 1 and 2. He set a personal best in May, did Palakshay Yashas. Sub 49 here might be possible for him. He's in lane 1. It's a tough lane draw, but his lifetime best is 49 seconds exactly. So under starters' orders, then the final of the men's 400-metre hurdles at these 23rd Commonwealth Games. Scotstoun Stadium. The stands probably more full tonight than they have been yet this week. Yashas of India in 1. Kumar, his teammate, in 2. Luke in 3 for Danica. Chalmers in 4 for Guernsey. Derbyshire of England 5. Nigerian Nathaniel favourite in 6. Minchell and Wilson 7 and 8. Well, Chalmers in 4 has got a good sight out of the athletes out in front of him. These athletes locked into their stride pattern. Derbyshire has gone off aggressively, but so has Nathaniel now in lane 6. The tall Nigerian there, third from left, moving really well up on Minchell of England. And Nathaniel leading now. Yes, he's clearing those barriers before the others. Good running from Wilson on the outside in the yellow of Jamaica. And really good running too out in lane 7 from Minchell as the rest of them work hard around this bend. But Nathaniel dominating this one at the moment. If he can hold on to this lead down the home straight, and he's got about a 5 or 6 metre lead ahead of the rest of them, he's going to storm away with gold here. Brilliant running from Jake Minchell out in lane 7. Is the Jamaican going to come back at him? It's going to be gold for Nathaniel Nigeria. But look at Jake Minchell hang on to the silver there. And a diving bronze for Ashani Wilson to take 3rd place for the Jamaicans there. And that winning time, 48.48. The wind is pretty strong in the face of those athletes up the back straight, but he has delivered, Ezekiel Nathaniel, the 23-year-old, and it's not as easy as you think now to come into an event as champion and produce the goods. They're all mortal. They're certainly vulnerable to failure. He was 6th 4 years ago, so he's been in this sort of situation before, Ezekiel Nathaniel, but he dominated that one, judged his hurdling absolutely beautifully in his effort throughout the race, and strong down the home straight to give nobody else a sniff at the gold.
What a silver for Jake Minchell, the University of Birmingham student. He's a former English schools 800-metre champion. He could be an 800-metre runner. And for years, he's been trying to choose between 4 flat, 4 hurdles and 800. And today, I think he's proven that he's made the right choice in his career. There were some mistakes as well that weren't there, Danny, as we were watching the race unfold.
Yeah, Chalmers did clip a barrier just coming round the bend, and that sent him backwards, unfortunately.
Well, I certainly expected a better run from Chalmers there. Danny, I didn't spot that, I must admit. I was too busy watching. Look at the diving at the line there. I was too busy watching Nathaniel and his beautifully run race.
Yeah, he clipped the barrier out on the bend. It really knocked his rhythm for a bit. He did well to claw his way back into it. But as soon as you've lost that rhythm in the 4 hurdles, there's no way to come back.
No, absolutely right. They're normally locked into a stride pattern. That's why you see quick times in qualifying races in the 400-metre hurdles. But Ezekiel Nathaniel, well, winning there by over half a second from Jake Minchell, who finished so strongly down the home straight. He has been consistent in recent weeks. Most recently, a good win in Tampere in Finland on the circuit. And confirmation of the win there for Nathaniel. Gold for Nigeria in this one. Jake Minchell, silver for England. And Ashani Wilson of Jamaica taking the bronze ahead of Dominica's Denick Luke in 4th.
Layla Sharp for a 2nd round attempt. She had a no jump in her 1st round. She'll be looking to get something on the board. That looks big. Is it enough to challenge Olivia Breen, who's currently in the lead with 5:09? Quick chat with the coach. 5:02. That takes it into 2nd position. That's a new area record for Sharp. and a new lifetime best to boot.
Here's the final meters of that 400-meter hurdles. Clears the final barrier well. The form has gone a little bit, but I think he was celebrating. He's smiling. He knew, I think, probably out of the corner of his eye, he knew he wasn't under any threat there. Ezekiel Nathaniel, 48.47. Very, very good time indeed under the circumstances. The conditions here are horrible. It's significantly quicker than Curran McMaster's time 4 years ago when he took gold in Birmingham.
Time for our next medal ceremony. It's going to be the women's 800 metres.
And shift the mission, Maud Baston. Bronze medalist representing Australia, Sarah Billings.
Really well judged race by Sarah Billings of Australia to pick up the bronze medal. She followed all the moves from Georgia Hunter-Bell for as long as she could, and she was just overhauled in the home straight. Time for the bronze medal, 2 dead 61. That shows you championship running. It was a slow opening lap, 60 seconds 32. And, didn't really get going to the last 100 metres, and Billings made her positioning choices perfectly throughout the race. Lilian Adira of Kenya, the champion in Tokyo last summer, did that all in the last 50 metres. She was so strong, getting herself ahead of Keely Hodgkinson, ahead of Georgia Hunter-Bell. And she's looked good this season. Couldn't quite get on terms with Georgia Hunter-Bell in the last 100. Perhaps gave Hunter-Bell that crucial metre or two with around about 120 metres to go, and was then playing catch-up.
Gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion representing England, Georgia Hunter-Bell.
Another medal for the collection for Georgia Hunter-Bell. She hadn't even really come back into the sport yet when we were in Birmingham 4 years ago. She was a brilliant junior, Georgia Bell. Left the sport, started a career, and then came back after COVID and the pandemic. She was doing duathlon at that point, and just realising she still had a love for competition. Got back in touch with her old coach, Trevor Painter. He said, come on then. Bit of a trial period the first year. He wasn't quite sure she was serious, but once they realised she was, the sky was the limit for Georgia Hunter-Bell. What a career this woman is having. A medal at her debut Olympics, a medal at her debut World Championships, and now a gold at her debut Commonwealth Games. She's simply unstoppable, Georgia Hunter-Bell. And she said perhaps going away and working and having other parts of her life developed has made her the athlete she is. She comes back in with perspective. She knows she's perhaps not got all the years in the sport that some of the younger athletes have got, and she wants to make the most of every year, and I think that's why we see her here competing at the Commonwealth Games. She will go to the European Championships in a couple of weeks' time, where she'll go over 1,500 metres.
There's the call room for the men's 200 metres. That's coming up in about 15 minutes' time. That will be a special race too. Very, very strong field with the Australian Lachlan Kennedy getting ready. There he is, the silver medalist in the 100 metres, although he has lane one.
Catch up the second round of the men's javelin. Yadav in third place at the moment. Look how Wow, that just hung in the air there for Yadav. The wind is significantly lighter than it was when they qualified yesterday. They seem to warm up into the competition. They just had the 3 throws for qualification, just reading the conditions, and Yadav's going to have a massive improvement here on his 77 meters 50 from the first round. .81 meters 56. He goes up into second place. Yadav, it's a brilliant throw. But this man is really the man of the moment in men's javelin throwing. Is 62 meters in Rome at the Rome Diamond League. Really shocked the world. Patharajay on a foul so far. Oh, similar to Chopra there. Seems to know he's hit something good. The camera's lost it. It was so high, so long, so far down the field. Not all that far away from the game's record. With Arshad Nadeem from Birmingham. Not quite the 90-meter mark that the crowd are hoping for. That's such a benchmark in men's javelin throwing. Lovely drone shot, chasing it down the field. Patharajay asserting himself on this field. The lead with Neeraj Chopra, 85-83, but not anymore, 89-70. Patharajay goes into the lead.
So Schmidt next to go then. So Schmidt, second round, no throw in the first round. He's an 84-meter thrower, Schmidt. He's hit that well. I think he likes that one, and he should like it. That's about 82.5 meters. That'll keep him in the mix. Ben East, the best of the home nation athletes, with that 81.12. Looks like he's going to make the cut. And that one from Smith, 82.88. He likes it, yeah. Brilliant throwing, and that takes him right up in there, into third place amongst the medals. Early days yet in this very, very talent-packed javelin final. Just about nobody missing from the world's elite.
Looking out over the women's long jump final for the T38 category. 3 events available for these women across the week. 100 this long jump and then a 200.
So we're in the last round of the long jump now. Kovalchuk going in a final round jump. She's currently sitting in 6th place with her biggest jump of 4.65. Sorry, 4.58 was her biggest jump so far. She needs something big to put her up into the medal position. She gets great height off the board. She looks pleased with it. Fist pump with the coach. She knows it's big. 4.71, a personal best. That moves Kovalchuk up into 3rd place. What a time to pull out your lifetime best in the last round of the long jump.
At the age of 15
the
as
young
well.
15-year-old in her first major championships.
And it's not like the moment isn't getting to her. We've seen her every round looking really excited. Just seeing that. Not sure what's going on here for Sienna Newton. Oh, the clock is running down and Newton has got herself in a right tangle with her kit. There you go, you can see she's just got 40 seconds left to go, and her teammates and the officials doing everything they can to get the tights off over the spikes. You've got to say we have all been there.
Yeah.
It's a really tricky situation. It's not quicker to get him up and
it is difficult for these athletes at times. They do have impairment issues, and also, like, you see the other athletes joining in. They do work to the same rules as all the other long jumpers, but sometimes there's a point when it is more difficult for these athletes.
You'd like to think the officials will take a sympathetic view on this.
And
18 seconds to 7 seconds to go.
Oh, she's up, she's off.
Could be special. The adrenaline will be high.
Just run through it. There is, unfortunately, a little bit of naivety in there as well. They know their jump is coming. They would be expected to be stripped down, waiting on the back of the runway, ready to go. So she'll be frustrated with herself there. She's currently... currently sitting in 5th place. Her biggest jump was in round 5, 4.70 meters. It's a learning experience though, isn't it, being an athlete? And we do learn the hard way usually. We make mistakes. We hope we don't do it on big championships, but it does happen.
Outside the medals in 4th.
Angeline from Mauritius.
471 is also the bronze medal, so she can back
Her best jump so far was 4.71.
She moves up to bronze.
She's been knocked out of the medals. How can she respond? Don't think it's going to be enough. I think she knows it's not going to be enough.
And the Mauritius are having a really good championships. When we look at these para events, they're always up there close to the medals, and for Angeline here to have hit an area record of 4.71, it's the same mark as Kowalczyk, but her second best jump isn't as far as the 15-year-old, so she sees herself down in 4th place.
So the medals have been decided. Kowalczyk currently sitting in 3rd, and the battle for gold and silver between Sharp and Breen. Sharp currently sitting in the silver medal position. She needs 5.09 more. She's got a green light. It's a valid jump.
Whatever happens to Olivia Green.
Is that it? I don't know if it's good enough.
Perfectly on the ball, just 3 centimeters given away.
Where do they put the ball?
It's an anxious wait for Sharp.
All right, good job. Good job.
It's not enough. That'll go in as a new games record though, because Olivia's one, although it flagged up her 5.09 in round 1, the wind gauge then came in later of a plus 3.9, so it wasn't a games record.
Games record. Let's get behind her for this final jump. Here we go. Gold wire.
She's got the gold. Can she go further than 5.09? So the bronze to Australia, Kowalczyk. Second to Sharp from Australia, and the gold medal to Olivia Breen from Wales. There was no long jump in Birmingham, so she defended her title from 2018.
That's about as much of an emotional response you'll get from Aston Moore, isn't it? We mentioned him, we've seen him all around. He's a big part of our sport. He's been coaching so many athletes for so long, and he has seen it all and done it all before, but he's picked himself up. Well, he won't see that medal as his own. He'll very much see it as Olivia Breen's. But what about the pair of Australians? That was absolutely brilliant for the pair of them, particularly Kowalczyk at the age of 15.
to come into a major championship like this at the age of 15, even just being away from home, it is a completely different experience for them. And then you come out into this environment. I mean, what a way to do your first major championship in this beautiful stadium in front of this crowd.
You make a good point there about the travel, Danny, when you consider, you know, Kowalczyk's the other side of the world. Yeah, it's not a short hop from Australia, is it? She's dealt with that long haul travel, the jet lag, absolutely everything. I wonder if she's got any more competitions left for the rest of the year. It's hard for these para athletes to find competition, so to see Kowalczyk take the most of this opportunity is brilliant.
A lot of these athletes, they will compete on the main stage, they will compete for their clubs, their county, but of course to get the major competition like this, it's very real. So, silver medal position, Kowalczyk, second to Sharp, and the gold to Olivia Breen. Unfortunately, Eve Walsh-Dawn for Northern Ireland had 3 no jumps. She wasn't able to carry on past the cut-off point of the last 3 jumps. Elizabeth Dobbs in 8. Liesl Gowes for South Africa in 7. Maddie Down for England in 6.
In round 3 of the javelin here, Peters 81 metres 41 in the second round. That was enough to briefly put him in second place. He has been pushed down by some brilliant throws here in the second round. See if he can find something here in the third. That's going to be a small improvement. Almost looks confused, Peters. Yeah, shakes his head. And a small hand signal for there from Peters. Let's have a look at the flight of the javelin. So high up above the stadium, yeah, and it does just dip. It's not quite landed vertically, of course, but you would want kind of 45 degrees when you're landing in the grass or the turf here. That would be the ideal trajectory. 82 metres, 55 for Peters, a small improvement, but no change in his position.
Time now for the men's 200 metres. The endurance sprinters, I think you could call these fellas. 8 athletes out there. And there is the field. Lachlan Kennedy, he's all had an astonishing week. Last year he dipped under 10 seconds for the first time in May, 9.98. That was in Nairobi. But this year he's gone under it many times and improved the Australasian record to 9.83 with that silver in the 100. If he had a better lane draw, I'd say he's one of the favourites here. Joseph Amoa, though, in lane 5 for Ghana, was the bronze medalist 4 years ago. Jamaica, well, they have a proud heritage in this, of course. The Games record, or the Commonwealth record, is held by a certain Usain Bolt. 19.19, the Commonwealth record, happens to be the world record as well. The Commonwealth Games record set in Birmingham 4 years ago by Jareem Richards. 19.80. It's a cool evening. I'm not sure it's sub-20 weather this. On the outside there, the Nigerian NCAA champion 3 years back on the Wuzurike. The Ghanaian, Amoa, 29 years old now. 3 men in this field have broken 20 seconds. He's not one of them. He's just a very good, consistent racer. There's Wuzurike, Udori Wuzurike, World Under-20 champion back in 2021, the Nigerian. Nice lane draw for Chris Taylor there of Jamaica in lane 7. 8th in the Olympic 400 back in 2021, but he's the Jamaican champion this year at 200. Sinisifo Dambile of South Africa goes in lane 6, 8th in the World Championships last year. There's Amoa, Joseph Amoa, as I said, bronze medalist 4 years ago, Amoa. Good, consistent racer. Born in Greater Accra. His coach Jamie Wilson will be watching with his heart in his mouth. Aaron Brown of Canada, their champion this year. His personal best 7 years ago. 34 years old now, Brown. He's in lane 4. In 3, Javon Powell, the second Jamaican in this one. Second in the Jamaican Championships this season. Salepe, Prince Faisal Salepe of Botswana goes in 2. Can he produce a medal here for the Botswanans? They're a growing force in the sprint world. And Lachlan Kennedy, big roar for him. Well, the Aussies have been running with inspiration this week, and I'm sure that inspiration will have run through the camp almost like a virus. And Lachlan Kennedy is one of those who set it off earlier in the week with that incredible, so close to a gold in the 100 metres. with that silver, 9.85. He was only third in his semi-final here, though, Kennedy, in a windy 20.12. His lifetime best, 20.26. He might need to run a lifetime best here to get amongst the medals. So the breeze has eased off a little bit. They will have it behind them down the home straight. The Lachlan Kennedy of Australia in 1. Selepe of Botswana in 2. Powell of Jamaica goes in 3. Then Aaron Brown of Canada in 4. Good lane draw for him. Amoa, the bronze medalist 4 years ago, goes in 5 for Ghana. Dambile of South Africa 6. Taylor of Jamaica 7. On Wuzurike of Nigeria on the outside in lane 8 in the green left of picture. Away they go. Really good start there from the Canadian Aaron Brown in the red strip. He's clearly visible. Very, very little change in the echelon there. Lachlan Kennedy going well from the inside, though. The others also got that bend behind them now. It's very, very even. 4 or 5 abreast, but look at the South African Dambile. He storms clear here. It's going to be a big win for him. The silver goes to Onwuzurike on the outside, Nigerian, and then Jamaican Taylor there taking the bronze in lane 7. Wow, the fellas in the outside lanes building momentum, or so it looked, over the last 50. But there was no stopping Senesifo Dambile, a finalist at the World Championships last year. Absolutely fantastic. And the time, 19.96. And that with a win behind him there, Dambile at 1.7. I knew it'd be a helpful win, separated from the others by the 20-second barrier. Onwuzurike, 20.09, a season's best. Chris Taylor of Jamaica, a personal best for a brilliant bronze. 20.21 was his best coming into these games. 20.11, he's just knocked a chunk off his lifetime best. And Aaron Brown, the fast starter, 20.18, just 7 100ths off a medal, the Canadian in 4th place.
You don't often see it as tight as that, do you? They came off the bend. All 8 athletes off the bend into the home straight, pretty much neck and neck. And then it just comes down to who can hold their form, who can hold their technique, who can hold their nerve. And Dambile of South Africa just did it beautifully as he pulled away. That is the first time South Africa have ever won this event.
Absolutely supreme there from Dambile. From lane 6, it was a super lane draw for him. Former World Junior Championship bronze medalist. Looked good in his semi, ran 1982, a windy 1982. But there, 120 in, there's about 5 men side by side.
We always look for the markers on the track, don't we, for them to hit it, because you can't always see it with the as they come around the bend, and they hit pretty much every mark on the track, all identical, until they just come off that last bend. And then it's Dambile, as he transitions out of the bend into the home straight, he just starts to pull away from the end. And you can see just on the outside, the Nigerian athlete just digging deep to take that silver medal.
He's a lovely looking runner too. He got stronger as the race wore on. Doesn't mean he was accelerating, he just held his form really well. And here's a 45-second 400-meter runner. He's run 32.1 for 300. Probably his sweet spot, 300. I wonder if he's got a future at 400 as well. But yeah, that was brilliant. Won the national championships for South African Stellenbosch in the middle of April in 20.02, and then set a season's best to win in Nairobi later in April, and a personal best again to win the Doha Diamond League. That was a sign of things to come. 1974 he ran there. That was back on the 19th of June. He's run very sparingly since then. Indeed, hadn't raced since Doha on the 19th of June, so over a month of final preparations with no competition coming into this.
But he came into this in such form, didn't he? He was the one to watch out for. He was the one to beat for the rest of the field, really. But of course, you've got to deliver it on the big stage. You've got to deliver it when the pressure's on.
Senesifo Dambile then is Commonwealth champion, 19.96 with a helpful top following win. Onwuzurike of Nigeria, the silver, and Jamaica's Christopher Brown, a personal best there for him. Christopher Taylor, excuse me, a personal best for 3rd place there. Aaron Brown just outside the medals. Siobhan Powell, 20.36 and 5th. Lachlan Kennedy, well, his glory was earlier in the week. That was unforgettable. And Amoa bringing up the rear there.
A brilliant men's 200 metres. The next action on the track, the final race this evening, will be the women's 200 metre final. We've still got the men's javelin to wrap up. And They've just gone working their way through round 4. We've cut the field down to 8 athletes. We're going to have a few medal ceremonies as that javelin progresses before we get over to the women's 200 metres.
Here's the final stages of that 200. Dambile holding his form so well. No strain, nice and relaxed in the shoulders. Look at the surge from Onwuzurike there over the last 20 metres to snatch that silver away from Chris Taylor. The Jamaican, the consolation was hanging on to the bronze there. But boy, oh boy, Dambile there, 19.96 on a cold evening.
First of 2 medal ceremonies before the women's 200 metre final. It's the men's decathlon. Just going to make their way out with the presentation team. They'll be following their orders behind, syncing up with the event presentation team here in the stadium. Here they are. Flags all being walked out. The presentation team will lead the 3 medalists.
The medal ceremony for the men's decathlon. Glasgow, please welcome the medalists.
Brilliant bronze for Tejaswin Shankar of India, an athlete that felt an affinity with the decathlon, didn't really have the setup after competing in America as a collegiate athlete over high jump. Really committing in the last couple of years to have a go at decathlon. He's done supremely well. Meteoric rise really for Tejaswin Shankar. 2 much more experienced athletes that he shares the podium with, Damien Warner and Lyndon Victor, have got so many other decathlons under their belts. But Shankar ended up with an overall score of 7,976 points. In the end, just 70 points behind Damien Warner, which is pretty impressive for a man of Warner's accolades. Big smiles for Tejaswin Shankar of India. Damien Warner up next for Canada. He won this title back in 2014. After that, he went on to win the Olympics in 2021, World Indoors in 2022 back in Belgrade. Today, it's just a silver. Perhaps largely due to that 4 meters and 40 in the pole vault. Lovely moment for Lyndon Victor. 3 consecutive Commonwealth Games titles over one of the toughest events in our sport. Daley Thompson won 3 titles in a row, and Lyndon Victor said last night at the end of his first day he was desperate to match that achievement of Daley Thompson, and he's done it in style. In the end, winning by 60 points ahead of Victor. Warner's score was 8,036 points. Lyndon Victor's 8,096. It's gold for Grenada. Oh, Lyndon Victor looks absolutely made up here on the podium. Damien Warner, perhaps a bit subdued. We haven't seen many athletes successfully do this triple. Toby Amasan failed, and Tommy Walsh failed as well. That was in the women's 100-metre hurdles and the men's shot put. But Lyndon Victor getting it done. He's our first triple winner, isn't it? We've got Wycliffe Kindymal trying to do it in the men's 800 tomorrow. And Nina Kennedy was only going for 2 in a row, wasn't she? Even for defending champions, it's been a pretty rough week this week. Lyndon Victor didn't seem fazed by that. Olivia Breen, by sort of default, defend her title. There wasn't a long jump for the T38 category in Birmingham, so she won it last time it happened in 2018. Yeah, she has got 3 titles in a row because she won the 100 metres in Birmingham in between Kowalczyk and Sharp, the 2 Australians joining her on the podium. And Kowalczyk at the age of 15 getting that bronze medal on countback. Oh. They need to leave those volunteers on the other end of the bench if they're going to perch on it for a photo. That.
The medal ceremony for the women's 400 metres hurdles.
Well, the medal ceremonies are coming at us thick and fast. The ceremony for the women's 400-metre hurdles is next up. It was gold for Jamaica in that one. The sky still with quite a lot of light in it, actually. It's just the clouds make it look darker than it should above the stadium here, the Scotstoun Stadium. Gujarat delegation chair there, making the presentations. That's nice to see. There's a familiar face, Eddie Doyle. Former athlete, she was a brilliant athlete. She was better than just a former athlete, Eilidh Doyle. Crikey. So the bronze medalist here, the Canadian Savannah Sutherland, taking 3rd place. Sutherland was out in lane 8, was running without being able to see her opposition for most of the race. Her time, 54.16, was the season's best. She peaked perfectly. She's a 52-second athlete, her absolute best, but her form good enough here tonight to make it onto the roster. And all smiles, of course, the Canadian. The silver medal, well, Newnham ran brilliantly. Emily Newnham, she's had a magnificent season. Down to 53.92 just recently, sub 54 seconds is a special category. She's run 50.3 for a flat 400 metres. She's very much a growing force, is Emily Newnham. Only 22 years old, and she is the silver medalist for England. But the gold tonight, well, it was a new personal best that took her 4 100ths clear of Newnham. It was very tight at the line because Newnham was so fast finishing, but she did enough to stay clear. Sanique Walker is gold medalist, Commonwealth champion for Jamaica. 54 seconds dead. Her time from lane 6. Earlier on this season, she improved to 54.56. So that was a pretty significant chunk she took off her personal best there. Sonique Walker's gold for Jamaica, making it the 4th consecutive Commonwealth Games gold in the 400-metre hurdles for her nation. Back in 2014, Khalees Carter taking gold, and then Geneve Russell, a brace of golds in 2018 and 4 years ago in Birmingham. And still, the Jamaicans hang on to the 400-metre hurdles title.
And please welcome into the arena the competitors for our final track event of the day, the women's 200 metres Commonwealth final.
Back over with the javelin. We're into the final round. 8 athletes throwing in reverse finish order at the moment. Yashveer Singh in 6th place. He's the 3rd best Indian on paper. He's in 2nd place out of the Indians at the moment. Trying to improve on his best of 81 metres 33. Likes it. Oh, there's just that extra hang at the end, isn't there, when these throws are getting up towards the 85-metre mark. That was a brilliant, brilliant effort from Singh. He's thrown 83.72 this season, and that's going to be a new lifetime best. Where's it going to put him on this list? But his teammate Neeraj Chopra in the silver medal position. From the graphic, it looks like he's just underneath that, the 85.83 of Chopra, just to the left-hand side of where his javelin landed. 85 metres 14. Singh up into the bronze medal position. There's still 5 athletes to throw, though.
Here is Peters, round 6. He's in 4th place. Can he penetrate the top 3? Well, that's not bad. 82.55 was his best for Anderson Peters. That came in round 2. That is certainly better in round 6, but I don't think it's enough to take him into the medals, or is it? It's a big throw, and Anderson Peters, super consistent. He really is. You look at his card, and he's been great. 4th place it is for him. Just so close. The silver medalist 4 years ago, bronze medalist back in 2018. He might have been looking to complete the set here tonight, but it wasn't to be.
Doe Smith, only 1 valid throw so far, 82 metres 88. He's in 5th place. Just looked like he was wincing there, and it's gone outside the sector. I wonder if Smith's dealing with some injury issues. And that was the last man that could affect the medals. And Yashveer Singh has got his hood up there. He could barely watch. But it is going to be a bronze medal, I think. Apologies if I've got this wrong. Let's have a look, make sure that there's anyone left to throw. But that was Schmidt's last opportunity to get himself up in the medals. There's been a lot of change here in the last round. They start round 4 throwing 8th to 1st, and they just keep throwing in that order, even if there's a reshuffle through the previous rounds.
Well, I think the Indians are finishing in 2nd and 3rd, and Neeraj Chopra is in 2nd with 85.83, but he's got to find nearly 4 metres to catch Pathiragi. These are the last 2 throws of the competition. Chopra started modestly, 80 metres his opener, then the big one came in round 2, 85.83. His 3rd and 4th round efforts, both beyond 80 metres. Round 5 was a no throw. And there the Sri Lankan. Quite a dust up this between the subcontinent neighbours. Rumesh Taranga Pathiragi holds the hot seat with 89.75, his 2nd round throw. It's his only valid throw. It's all he needed was one monstrous effort. He is the world #1 this year, and he's delivered tonight in spectacular style, albeit with the 4 no throws on either side of his big 2nd round 89.75. Here comes Chopra now. The crowd getting right behind him. Commonwealth champion back in 2018. What can he do here? No, he knows it wasn't good, wasn't enough. Didn't hit it right, just as he knew a couple of rounds back, without even having to look, that he'd thrown a big one. That came in the 2nd round, 85.83, but that remains his best on the night, and he has to settle for silver. It's the man who has won it all, Olympics, Worlds, Commonwealths, and World Juniors. Silver for Chopra tonight at the age of 28. He's had 1 or 2 injuries this last 3 or 4 years, It's an incredibly stressful event. I wonder if Pathirage will take his final throw. Does he need to? He doesn't need to. That's the answer. But is he going to bother? What I really mean. Looks like he is going to bother.
That's great for Chopra. It's kind of returned to form after that 8th in Tokyo. And he spoke about coming back too quickly, rushing a back injury and costing himself months of training. He's shown good form here in Glasgow. He'll be delighted with the 2-3 for India. But Pathirage is going to go in and take his final jump. His furthest throw, his only valid throw, has come in the second round, 89 metres 75. He's not too far off the games record of Arshad Nadeem, the defending champion. Nadeem down in 9th place today, still dealing with his own comeback from injury. But Pathirage, undefeated in 2026, all the way through to this Commonwealth Games. It's just going to fall short of the 80-metre mark. But that is Sri Lanka's first ever gold in any event, men or women, at the Commonwealth Games. And this guy announced himself at the Rome Diamond League when he threw 92 metres 62, and he's maintained that form. Doesn't matter who he's come up against, he's won this season. But to do it with only one valid throw, nerves of steel from Pathirage. In the end, winning by just under 4 metres.
Well, India too, taking 2 medals at the same championships in this event. Previously, they had 2 medals in total from this discipline, but that is quite fantastic for Chopra and Singh in 2nd and 3rd. The subcontinent dominating the javelin. It makes you wonder if maybe Chopra, with that gold in Tokyo 2021, has inspired a generation of young and semi-established throwers, perhaps.
I'm just loving the total range of nations we've got kind of taking those global titles. I think it's been a different nation every year for the past 7 or 8 years. And Pathirage, with this Commonwealth title here, with the World Championships in Beijing next year, he'll look at that now and say, if I can beat the calibre of this field that I have at a Commonwealth level, that gives me every right to look at the world level. It used to be the East Europeans, didn't it, that would mix it up with these athletes, but it's very much becoming a much more universal event.
Well, the Caribbean athletes, the African athletes, I mean, you look down the recent global championships, you know, the Olympic Games was won by Nadeem in 24, Chopra won the World Championships in 23, the Commonwealths in 22 was won by Nadeem, the World Championships in 22 won by Anderson Peters. All of those guys in this field, it's such a strong field.
It truly is, and a whole range of nations just in this Commonwealth Games final. 3 Indians though, and 2 on the podium. Silver for Chopra, bronze for Singh, but a gold for Pathirage of Sri Lanka.
Well, the final. It is the final track action of the night here, the women's 200 metres. Can we have something as spectacular as the men? We set a pretty high bar, Hannah.
Certainly did. The men were fantastic in their 200-metre final, all of them sweeping off the bend together. But in this race, you've got to look at Adarje Hodge, who ran a games record in her semi-final, shutting it down with 30 metres to go. There she is in the British Virgin Islands. I don't think we're going to have such a close race here. Lane 6, a brilliant lane for Hodge as well. Ashanti Moore of Jamaica will go in lane 8. She was 3rd in this year's national championships in a personal best of 22.45. Tori Lewis, a bronze in the 100 metres, in a national record for Australia. She's actually the world junior champion over this sprint though, so perhaps something special in store for the 21-year-old. But Adarje Hodge, she ran 20.01 in her semi-final, and she jogged the last 30 metres, erased Elaine Thompson-Hera from the games record list. Shaniqua Bascom of Trinidad and Tobago goes in lane 5. She won her semi-final in a PB of 22.31. Alana Reid of Jamaica goes in 4. She won their national championships. She's also a former World Junior bronze medalist. 3rd Jamaican in this final, Lavanya Williams. Half-time best of 22.44 this year. British champion competing for England here at the Commonwealth Games, Success Edowan, ran a brilliant bend in her semi-final and then just tied up ever so slightly in the last 20 or 30 metres. Shanti Veronica Pereira of Singapore has made the final here. It's her 3rd appearance at the Commonwealth Games, but the first time she's made it further than the semi-finals. Final race of the day, the final of the women's 200 metres. Pereira of Singapore goes in 1, Edwin of England in 2, Williams of Jamaica in 3, Reid of Jamaica in 4, Bascom of Trinidad and Tobago takes lane 5. Hodge, the new games record holder for the British Virgin Islands, will go in 6. Lewis of Australia, the bronze medalist over 100 at this championships, in 7, and Moore of Jamaica in lane 8.
Set. Stand up, please.
Yeah, that's a good call from Lavanya Williams. Responding immediately to a whoop in the crowd. I'm not sure why someone felt it was necessary to do that right when the athletes had been called into the set position.
Athletes, please line up quickly for me.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, maybe the noise I heard was closer to me over here. It wasn't to do with what went on. Might have been coincidence for Lavanya Williams. I am the other side of the stadium.
It was very audible, and I think she did the right thing. He might have been just saying to her, look, we'll deal with issues like that. Don't you put your hand up.
On your mark.
But a yellow card for Lavanya Williams, so a warning, if you like. So the athletes back into their blocks. Pre-event favourite, Adasia Hodge of the British Virgin Islands. Last to settle in lane 6. She's second on the world lead list this season with 21.68. She's already broken the games record in the semi-final.
Set.
And they are away this time. The athletes will power around the bend and try and convert all the speed they've built up over the first 100 metres into the home straight. Adasia Hodge looking good, but not miles ahead of the other athletes. Bascom of Trinidad and Tobago matching her through the first 100 metres. Adasia Hodge into the last 50. Working hard here, Adasia Hodge. She's going to work all the way to the line. 22.07 for Adasia Hodge. Not looking as fresh as yesterday, but who cares? It's a gold medal for the British Virgin Islands. This young woman at the age of 20 has just picked up her major title, first major title of her career. And look at this from Shaniqua Bascom. She can hardly believe what she managed to do there. It was a brilliant bend from Bascom to stay on terms with Hodge. It was Alana Reid who came through for 3rd place, but Bascom looks in total shock.
Yeah, out in lane 8, Moore got a really good start, but Hodge didn't get out as quick, did she? But when she got into her running, she took Bascom with her. Bascom was just inside her and was able to just trail Hodge all the way round. No, it wasn't as quick as she did in the semi-finals, but that's not what it's about, is it? You look here, the Jamaican in lane 8 gets a really good start, but it's just here that Hodge starts to get into her running and just starts to get a real foothold into this race. But Bascom is just matching her stride for stride as they come into the home straight. And it's only now that Hodge is able to just start pulling away from Bascom in the closing sort of 50, 60 metres of the race. They had to dig deep there, both those athletes.
They did indeed. Adasia Hodge delivered. She had competition from Bascom inside her. The medals eventually going to lanes 6, 5 and 4, the best lanes. Bascom towering over Hodge and actually held her for about the first 70 or 80. And then Hodges holding her form so well here. It looked like she was labouring a bit the last 50, but they all were on this cool evening. That, by the way, is the first ever medal for the British Virgin Islands at the Commonwealth Games. Absolutely fantastic from Adasia Hodge, and it was a gold, of course. Previously, Karen McMaster won the men's 400-metre hurdles twice back in 2018 and 4 years ago in Birmingham. The best women's performance was back in 2014.
Women's 200 metres final, Adasia Hodge for the British Virgin Islands taking gold, Bascom the silver and Reid the bronze.
Board member, Glasgow 2026, David Brady.
Well, another presentation ceremony. The organisers doing a fabulous job of trying to squeeze in these presentation ceremonies straight after that women's 400-metre hurdles. There's no time to catch your breath at these things. The bronze medal going to Asani Wilson of Jamaica. Wilson, 49.22 in breezy, cool conditions. I bet for the Caribbean athletes, this is freezing up here in Scotland. But it's the same for everybody, and it was the same for Jake Minchell, who ran out of his skin, 48.99, a brilliant run from him. Anna was saying earlier that he might have been a decent 800-metre runner. Well, of course, there's always been a strong correlation between 400-metre hurdle strength and the ability to run a decent 800 metres. But he's gone for the shorter distance. It's still a very, very tough discipline. And silver for England in that 400-metre hurdles. But winning by over half a second tonight was the pre-race favourite, Ezekiel Nathaniel, third fastest in the world this year. Absolutely supreme from him, 48.47 for the Nigerian. He was in lane 6 and he took this one pretty easily tonight, frankly. He looked very strong, came in a strong favourite and didn't disappoint anybody. Well, Ezekiel Nathaniel, just another Nigerian who's benefited from a scholarship in the US collegiate system. He studied at Baylor University in Texas. And my word, has he developed into a great champion, NCAA champion last year. He was 19 when he came 6th in the Commonwealth Games 4 years ago. Tonight, at 23, he is champion. More like the finished article. And just looking at previous champions in this discipline. Nigeria have never had gold before. Karen McMaster of the British Virgin Islands won the last 2 titles.
One more look back at this women's 200 metres, our final event this evening on the penultimate day of the athletics and para-athletics programme here at the Commonwealth Games. Deja Hodge, she could have gone in the 100 as well, but she decided to focus on the 200, just measuring her effort after a busy collegiate season. It was a really tight battle for the Jamaicans, all pushing each other to the line all the way. 3 of them fighting for 1 medal behind the British Virgin Islands and Trinidad and Tobago. Bascom still the best reaction of the day, I think. It was Reid in the end by a tiny margin over her 2 teammates to complete the podium.
The Jamaican team, I reckon pound for pound, has had the best week of anybody, don't you? Unbelievable.
And what I like about watching the Jamaicans in the last couple of years is the field event is really stepping up. It was all sprint medals and a few field medals, and the field are almost overtaking the sprinters. Three medal ceremonies left to conclude our coverage here. Loving the steely focus in the presentation team, not put off at all by the flares going off a foot from their face. Cool evening here in Glasgow. I think dampened the heights we saw in this competition, but it was really competitive nonetheless.
Representing New
Eris won her second consecutive bronze medal. There was one in Birmingham and then one here for her. She's elevated her performances on the global stage in the 4 years between these two championships. But the pole vault here in the Commonwealth is very competitive. She'll be relieved to have got herself on this podium. In the end, her highest height, 4 meters and 55, but that's because she tactically passed her remaining attempts at 4.65 to try and improve on this bronze medal position. A surprise defeat for Nina Kennedy, the Olympic champion, been on the comeback from a horrendous string of injuries in 2025. It looked like it was a fairy tale return, with performances on the Diamond League circuit and an oceanic record of 4.95 in Monaco 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Kennedy faltered a little bit here in Glasgow. She was up against it with some high quality vaulters. Best clearance 4.65, but it took her 2 attempts. So on count back, with a perfect scorecard up to 4 meters 65, it was gold for Eliza McCartney of New Zealand. The woman who's always got an impressive resume with that bronze medal from the Olympics back in Rio. She's carried on her career since then, very often fallen just short of the podiums at major championships, but not today. Nerves of steel for McCartney to maintain that clean scorecard. She had a few good attempts at 4 meters and 70, but in the end, the gold is hers at 4 meters 65. Sing along some smiles and some tears from the medalists here. Eliza McCartney matching the gold medal of her teammate Zoe Hobbs. She won the 100 on the second day of this athletics and para athletics programme. That was Tuesday night. They've had a silver with Tom Walsh. Now a gold and a bronze with McCartney and Eris. And Nina Kennedy, another medal for Australia.
Well, these medal ceremonies continue. Just a few hardy souls left in the stands to applaud the athletes. Men's 200 meters is next up. And that, of course, resulting in a South African gold, Nigerian silver, and Jamaican bronze. The Africans have been a growing force in sprinting for some years now. Used to associate South Africa with distance runners, marathon runners, more than we did sprinters. But Botswana and Ghana and Nigeria and indeed South Africa represented in this final. And they will continue to grow as a force. And well, for the home nations, no British athletes of any colour, any nation making the semi-finals of the 400 metres. No home nation athlete in this 200 metres final. Zarnell Hughes not making it through the semis. She has had some work on her hands, hasn't she, Louisa Mann, Senior Executive of Glasgow 2026. What a great job she and her team have done. The bronze medal in the men's tournament is going to Christopher Taylor. A lifetime best of 20.11 for Taylor, the Jamaican. He was out in lane 7. He's well versed in these matters. He was an Olympic finalist in Tokyo 2021, but over 400 meters. Finished 8th in that final, but he's the Jamaican champion this year, and that gives you more than enough credibility. And indeed, he lived up to that credibility with that 3rd place. The silver medal, Udodi Chudi Onwuzurike. The season's best for him, 20.09. He peaked perfectly as well, and I'm sure he's raced in plenty of warmer conditions than here tonight on Onwuzurike. He was on the outside in lane 8. Taylor, remember, was in 7. Former world under-20 champion, coached by his father, Chris Onwuzurike. Says he's been inspired by great Nigerian sprinters of the past, such as Olusoji Fasube. Well, the champion for South Africa, Senesifo Dambile, 19.96 in cool conditions here in the Scotstoun Stadium. Commonwealth Games record of Dream Richards from 4 years ago, 19.82, wasn't 80. Wasn't going to be threatened in these temperatures. If it had been warmer, maybe it would. And it has been warm up here for the last 2 or 3 weeks prior to this week. But the athletes have been far superior than any problems on the weather. And Dambile superior tonight in this discipline, 19.96. He's Commonwealth champion.
Once again, please show your appreciation for the Commonwealth Games medalists.
One more medal ceremony to go after this. A wonderful gold there for South Africa. Let's see how we're doing overall on the medal standings. Still Australia leading the way with 5 golds and 17 medals in total. Jamaica have 5 golds, England 4, Canada 4, Nigeria 3. And that for South Africa, their 2nd gold medal. And all smiles from Dambile. Onwuzurike was courageous there in the last 20 metres to pull himself up from 3rd to silver. The Nigerian just couldn't get back on terms with the perfect performance there from Dambile. "26 nations have picked up a medal so far here in the athletics and para-athletics programme. 71 nations being represented here in Scotstoun. There's still one more day to go. I have a feeling we'll add a few more nations to that.
Pretty impressive, isn't it, Hannah, that 24 nations have picked up medals. It does underline the the true global reach of track and field athletics compared with some other sports. You know, not the fault of anybody in those sports. It's often geographical elements involved in their how well they're spread, their exposure. Winter sports, for example, of course, are not enormous in Africa. Other sports, well, it's down to facilities and the cost of the equipment, cycling and so on. But track and field athletics, yeah, it's welcoming. Everybody, every size and shape will find a discipline at which they can, if not excel, then certainly apply themselves and have a good go, which is quite often not a bad philosophy, Danny.
No, I think in terms of athletics, that's about all I can do now, Tim, is just have a go.
Well, you beat me on that score.
But you're right, it does. It's truly encompassing for everybody, isn't it? There is something within the athletics fraternity for most people. And it's one of those things, it's like the purest form, isn't it? Like it's just pure speed, strength, and then we just hone those skills down a little bit for this environment.
You're right, it's very pure, Danny, isn't it? You know, every kid would try and run as fast as they can, jump as far as they can into a sandpit if they were in front of one, and probably chuck something as far as they can, whether that's a toy or a ball from an early age. And you're right, we just add a few rules into it, which I think don't kind of pollute the essence of that too much, but make for kind of an entertaining sport that we can package up and try and get people to watch and buy into as much as we do.
You only have to go to any school sports day, don't you? Every child wants to win. I'm just really, really glad I never went to a school in Jamaica. I would have had no chance.
Yeah, no chance at all. And, great to see the fans staying for some selfies.
This is another beauty of athletics, isn't it? Like, fans really, really do get to get up close with the athletes, and the athletes genuinely respect the fans that sit out here in all weathers to watch them, and will always give them that time, that lap of honour. You very rarely ever see an athlete just do the lap of honour. Normally the track officials are trying to drag them off the track at some point, aren't they? Because they're doing selfies with everybody.
But it's partly the nature of the facility, isn't it, too? This is a super arena. Most tracks are now the athletes who get close to the fans, even if it's something huge that holds 60, 70,000 like the London Stadium. It's access to the stars that makes athletics, track and field athletics, stand out.
So Nasifo Dambile has nearly finished his home straight of honour, parading his medal. We look at that South African team, and maybe towards the 4x1. The men's 4x1 is going to be super competitive. That's taking place tomorrow evening alongside the mixed 4x4. The South African men have been so good, a rising force in the 4x1. And Dambile will be a part of that. Final medal ceremony here this evening, the women's 200 metres. Just finding the athletes, we're hearing, and if you speak to any staff that have worked a major event, they will use the phrase herding cats when they discuss trying to find the various medalists. So they'll go off, they'll be doing that lap of honour, they'll be finding everybody they know in the stand, and they have managed to find Adasia Hodge, Shaniqua Bascom and Alana Reid. Well, I assume they have, although I thought they were walking extra slowly there, waiting for one of them to catch up. Luckily, these women are pretty quick, and there they are. Alana Reid joining a long, long list of Jamaican women that have picked up medals at the Commonwealth Games. Reid is a former world junior champion over 100 metres. Picked up a bronze back in 2022 at the World Juniors over 200 metres. This is a lovely step up in her career. So many of these athletes here at the Commonwealth Games, they've taken the opportunity, and it's led them to the performances that put them up here on the podium. There she is, 21-year-old Alana Reid. Her Commonwealth Games debut has gone pretty well. A bronze medal for her, hard fought in the closing metres to get that gold medal, 100th ahead of Ashanti Moore, her teammate. Ended up in 4th place. Lavanya Williams was in 5th, so 3-4-5 for Jamaicans when you talk about it. Relay performances and what to expect tomorrow. Keep an eye on those three. At least one of them is going to be in that 4x1 squad. Shanika Bashcom absolutely ran out of her skin. It's Trinidad and Tobago's first medal in this women's 200 metres. Doreen Richards, of course, picking up a pair of golds on the men's side. He goes in the 400 metre final tomorrow morning. But Bashcom was overcome with emotion when she realised she'd got this silver medal. Champion this evening, Adasia Hodge from the British Virgin Islands. She wins the first female gold medal, the first medal ever for the British Virgin Islands at the Commonwealth Games. Kyra McMaster has won the 4 hurdles title twice. Adasia Hodge, their first female medalist, and a small nod there while she waited for her gold. She ran so quick this season, 21.68 in the last few weeks. In a semi-final here yesterday, she blasted to 22 seconds 01 to take the games record away from Elaine Thompson-Herrat, and she converted that into a gold this evening. Lovely scenes there with Adasia Hodge, wiping the tears away, get the smile back on for the photos. How often do you see these champions look okay at the start of the national anthem, and then, you know, by halfway through, the enormity of what they've achieved, the sacrifices they've made over the last few years, well, they have, and their friends and family have, just kind of dawn on them. It's wonderful to have a chance to share that moment with them here in the stadium.
Funny, isn't it, Hannah? The months and months of training condensed into 10 seconds or 20 seconds of effort, and so easy to forget how much work has gone into those pinnacle moments.
And that is why you often see that emotion pour out, isn't it?
And a great conclusion to the penultimate day here in the Scotstoun Stadium. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary from myself, Hannah England, from Tim Hutchings and Danny Crates. We'll be back tomorrow for the final day, which will feature 12 finals and the men's mile with a new mile world record holder, Josh Kerr.
Digital accessibility, what that means is make websites and web apps accessible for